We are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा से MTH का जल जीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH
की घटना है, यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ। जो रात में घटना घटी उसमें महिला घर में अकेली थी। हाँ, रात में 2-3 बजे की घटना है, यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ। जो रात में घटना घटी उसमें महिला घर में अकेली थी, उसके बच्चे बाहर थे, पति उसका परेशान जो है डेथ हो गई है। उसके घर में 2-3 बजे के आसपास कुछ लोग घुसे, 5-6 लोग बता रहे हैं, और उसमें जो है उनके साथ उनके घर में पूरी सर्च किया, उसका सामान चांदी लिए हैं और उसके साथ बलात्कार की घटना भी किया गया है। साथ ही कोई उसमें और उसके इंटरनल पार्ट में इंजरी है, जिससे लगता है कोई मटेरियल वगैरह कुछ उसके साथ जो है प्रयास किया गया है। इसके बारे में पूरी जानकारी डॉक्टर से ली जा रही है और इसमें उसको भी इंदौर रेफर किया गया है। महिला को वहाँ उनके इलाज के लिए रेफर किया गया है, तो पूरा ख्याल रखा जा रहा है। बाकी हम लोग पूरी टीम यहाँ पे जो है हमारी लगी है, FSL की टीम भी आई है, हमारे जो फिंगरप्रिंट की टीम भी है, हमारे साइबर प्लस जो हमारी आसपास के थाने की टीम यहाँ पे आ गई है। उनको मैंने पूरा जल्दी से जल्दी मतलब 24 घंटे 28 घंटे के अंदर में प्रकरण को निकालने का प्रयास किया जाएगा पुलिस की तरफ से।
Hello viewers, a very good afternoon to you. I'm Chongtham Amrita and you're watching Republic TV. Now Republic School of Journalism, India's most sought after live learning program, has now opened applications for its 2026 batch. RSJ was launched with a single mission to train the next generation of journalists, not in classrooms but on the field, live as news breaks, covering elections, wars and the biggest stories of our times under the direct mentorship of India's biggest journalists at the Republic Media Network. And the results speak for themselves. 100% of students from RSJ's inaugural batch are now placed working in newsrooms. The new batch begins this August and aspiring journalists can apply online now at www.republicschoolofjournalism.com or call 836-999-5400 to know more. But first, for now, let's take a look at the headlines. India shines at the inaugural edition of the Asian Under-23 Athletics Championship 2026 held in China finishes fourth by clinching 16 medals across the events. Supreme Court 6 SIT report in Ayodhya donation theft case directs the team to issue notice to Ram Mandir Trust. After UBT Sena NCP-SP split next, sources indicate 5 Lok Sabha MPs likely to make the switch to NDA. US strikes central Iranian areas, hits air defense systems, coastal radar sites, missile and drone capabilities along with small boats. Iran launches Eye for an Eye operation after fresh US strikes targets US bases across Kuwait, Jordan and Bahrain. BJP sends legal notice to Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah on 30 crore charge, demands unconditional apology. Viewers, we begin with a major shocker of a news that's coming in from Hyderabad. Now, a video from Hyderabad has now gone viral after a police officer was allegedly seen allowing a minor girl to drive a car on a busy road. The incident caused a traffic jam and raised serious concerns over road safety. Locals who questioned the officer says that he defended his actions instead of acknowledging the violation. Now, following this backlash, the case has now been registered against Pujari Tirupati for permitting a minor to drive the vehicle. Now, DGP Telangana Anand IPS has also posted on X that he has directed the CP Cyberabad to suspend the concerned officer and initiate a departmental inquiry into the matter after he allowed the minor to drive the vehicle. Now, viewers, this is in fact a video that has now gone viral where a minor was seen driving a car and also the man defended his actions. This is a video from Hyderabad that has now gone viral. The police officer, he has allowed a minor girl to drive the car on a very busy road, and in fact one big shocker is coming that he has defended his actions. Now, on this incident, the DGP Telangana Anand IPS has posted on X that he has now directed the CP Cyberabad to suspend the concerned officer and initiate a departmental inquiry against him. This is the latest action has been taken against the police officer for allowing a minor girl to drive the car on a busy road. You can see these visuals that has gone viral, and the police officer was also defending his actions on this. I'm now joined by my colleague Aishwarya, who has some more details into this matter. Aishwarya, this is in fact a big turning point, or maybe as we can call a shocker of an incident in Hyderabad where a police officer has allowed his relative, maybe a granddaughter or a grandson, that he has allowed to drive this vehicle. In fact, he has gone for a different length of a distance to drive this vehicle on a busy road. Now also we are getting report that he to suspend the concerned officer. A matter has also been initiated on this. Tell us more on this, Aishwarya.
Well, this particular video which went viral on social media actually garnered attention and also heavy criticism on how a Hyderabad cop, an SI, could allow his 6.5-year-old granddaughter to drive a car. What went viral was when the other passengers who were behind came to confront and actually saw a 6.5-year-old driving the car. They questioned the cop, but he only had to say, "I am the cop here, I am the police, so I can do whatever I want." And that response actually went viral all over social media, drawing heavy criticism, leading to his suspension today. The Hyderabad cop, we can see in the video what he was saying to the passengers who were confronting him was that it is an automatic car, and though the granddaughter has the wheels in her hands, it is he who is controlling the entire drive. But however, we can see the video very clearly that the car is struck and it is moving in a very, very slow pace, leading to a heavy traffic congestion in a narrow road. When actually the passengers were in the video began to say that they thought it was a technical fault, and that is the reason they went up to the car to actually help the person who was driving the car. But to a shocker, they actually saw a 6.5-year-old driving a car. But upon confrontation, there was an arrogance in how the Hyderabad cop had reacted, and that is when the video was taken and it was put up on social media. After it went viral, the DGP of Telangana had also taken cognizance of this matter, and he has been suspended today, and also an departmental inquiry has been issued against him. And they also clearly said that such kind of incidents will not be tolerated, and even though if he's a police officer or a common man, allowing a minor to take up a car, drive a car, even giving her the wheels in her hands is something that is intolerable, and it will not be entertained in this Telangana state.
That's right. In fact, thank you so much for all of those updates, Shwarya. And in fact, this will in fact set an example to not repeat such actions again. Now, from that, we move on to Manipur, a major protest that has been continuing in Imphal that has been demanding the justice of the 6 Naga hostages and all lives that has been brutally murdered by Kuki Sioux militants, groups who are under the Sioux groups, the Kuki armed groups. The hundreds filled tribal market in Imphal demanding the justice and arrest of all perpetrators. Now the protest also demands abrogation of the suspension of operation agreements with the Kuki armed groups who have already broken the ground rules, as they say, the ground rules of the suspension of operation. And the group also demands to declare the Kuki suspension of operation group who are under the agreement, such as the KNFP, as a terrorist organization. And also they have urged to remove the Deputy Chief Minister Nemcha Kipgen from her post and to arrest those who have been named as killers and to prosecute them. And they are still demanding the justice for the Naga hostages that have been killed.
Naga brothers ki justice! 6 Naga brothers ki justice! KNFP terrorist group ni haina! KNFP terrorist group ni haina! Nemcha Kipgen.
I'm now joined by my colleague Johnson from Imphal, who has more details into this, who has been tracking it in great detail. Johnson, thank you so much for joining us. And we're now getting to see that the demand for the 6 Naga hostages who have been kidnapped and killed brutally, and the people are still demanding justice for them. And one of the main demand is for the abrogation of the suspension of operation. And we are seeing that the latest protests have also demanded the removal of the Deputy Chief Minister. Tell us more into this.
Yes, Amrita. The world knows that the 6 Naga hostages have been abducted from Lelong Baifei on 13 May, and their mortal remains, who are brutally murdered, who are mutilated into pieces, they were recovered after nearly a month from the adjoining village of Lelong Baifei. So from the very day itself, various Naga civil society organizations, various clubs and various well-wishers of the indigenous groups, not only the Naga but also from the Meitei community, they have been protesting to demand justice from the concerned authority, that is both the state and the central government. Today itself, various Nagas, women, various local clubs and organizations, they also staged a protest in the tribal market, New Tekon, demanding various demands. So one of the demands, major demand, is that to abrogate the suspension of operation with all those Kuki Sioux militant groups. The main reason is because under this name of Sioux, various Kuki armed groups, they are operating freely, roaming freely, and targeting and attacking various civilian lives. Not only this, the protest also demand the removal of Nemcha Kipgen, the Deputy Chief Minister of Manipur, from his Deputy CM post, as he is directly linked, and her husband is also the chairman, also one of the commander of the Kuki National Front P. This demand comes up. This is not the first protest, and this will be the last protest. The world also must know that the 6 mortal remains of the Naga hostages are still in the mortuary of Jennings Hospital. Recently, while talking to the Home Minister of Manipur, Republic got to access to know, and from a very crucial source, Republic team knows that the operation was carried out at Lelong Baifei, and the operation is still going on. And one of the major breaking sources is that the houses of 2 leaders, one is from the Kuki-Zo Council, Joint Secretary of the Kuki-Zo Council, and Organization Secretary of the Kuki NP Manipur houses, were raided by the Central Forces, CRPF, and its allied commandos, allied forces, Cobra commandos, during the midnight hours. So for this house raided, even the Kuki-Zo Council have also condemned the Security Act. The question is, how long the protest will carry out in Manipur, in Imphal? How long the justice will be demanded by the well-wishers? Is the government still staying silent, or is the government unable to arrest all those perpetrators? Back to you.
That's
Amrita.
right. That's right. Thank you so much for all of those details, Johnson, and we'll get back to you for more updates. And viewers, we move on to another big story that's breaking, the scandal involving Meta. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has now said on the Meta child sexual abuse scandal. They have said that Meta has responded on the scam scandal, and Meta, in fact, have given a response to the government notice on the child sexual abuse content on Saturday. And in fact, Republic has been reporting on the child abuse, sexual abuse material on Meta, and the investigation has showed that the CSAM material was still online on various Meta platforms even after the government has issued notice against the tech giant. And now Meta, and now the ministry secretary has said that government is now examining Meta's response on the content, on the child abuse content, and government has also said the appropriate action will be taken on Meta after due examination of their response. I'm also joined by my colleague Nitin on this matter, who has been tracking this in great detail since the beginning. And Nitin, do give us more detail on the response that Meta has now given to the government. This after a 7 days explanation period was issued to Meta to explain their explanation on why there are still such child abuse material persistent on their platforms, and they have now given a notice to that. Tell us more on that.
Exactly. So I think Meta, while it's given a very detailed response to MeToo, and the Secretary of the central government has sort of acknowledged that fact, and an action, a very detailed action, a corrective measure is expected from Meta after Centre's examination of its response on the child sexual abuse material matter. But the fact is that Meta is such a big company functioning across the globe, literally, with India as its largest consumer base in terms of both Instagram users and WhatsApp users, fails to understand how complex and how much of a trouble they found themselves in at this point of time in India. Because 5 minutes back, I was looking at Instagram, I just searched for the word teen, and the most graphic images of child sexual exploitation, soft porn, name it, and it was available just by searching a very simple word as teen. And this is after a company as big as Meta, Mark Zuckerberg-led company, led by Arun Srinivas in India, is under the scanner already and has given a so-called detailed response to the central government. This is very concerning. I think these foreign companies are truly accountable not only to the central government, but they should directly speak with Republic. We've been there, we've been on ground, we've been covering this issue since it came to light. It came to light through our investigation, both on ground and through our desk reportage, which found several instances across Facebook and its Instagram account, and we'll continue to keep tracking this case in the closest possible manner. Back to you.
That's right. Thank you so much, Nitin, for joining us on this and for all of those details. And in fact, we'll continue to track this story. In fact, Republic was the only channel who have flagged the child sexual abuse material on these platforms still persisting. And we'll continue to track the story. And for now, we'll move on to another major political development that's coming in from Maharashtra. Now, as per sources, the NCP Sharad Pawar faction has said for the NDA on key matter. This is a big development coming in from Maharashtra. The NCP Sharad Pawar, in fact, could be aligning closer to the NDA. And as per sources that we are tracking, Sharad Pawar's party may back the government on delimitation sources, a delimitation exercise as well. And Sharad Pawar's NCP-SP, in fact, may back on the one nation, one election elsewhere also. And this is a big move, in fact, and from reliable sources that we are tracking. And they also say, as per the sources, that a merger is highly unlikely before or during the monsoon session, even though the NCP Sharad Pawar faction is moving closer to aligning and voting for some of the key policies, including the one nation, one election, and also the delimitation exercise. And even during the Operation Sindoor, NCP Sharad Pawar's faction, and this is from a key reliable source that have said that we backed on the discussion of the government and the actions of the government on that. So In fact, viewers, this is a big political update that we are tracking that Sharad Pawar faction could in fact be voting for the government on key issues, including the one nation, one election and also the delimitation. I'm now joined by my colleague Revati from Mumbai, who has some more details on this. Revati, this is a big, major political development. Now we have seen Operation Tiger taking place across Maharashtra, and this is again a big update that the Sharad Pawar faction is now saying that they could back the government on key issues, including the policies such as one nation, one election and the delimitation exercise. So this is a big move. In fact, Revati, tell us more on what you know about that.
Right. To be very honest, from last 2 to 3 years, Maharashtra politics has been a big drama, and this drama again continues after the Operation Tiger 2.0. Now there's a high speculation and talks about the NCP-SP splitting up and joining hands with the NDA or the NCP-AP faction. A few days ago, we exclusively saw on Republic that around 5 MPs are in talks and they are on the verge of split, but the timeline isn't fixed yet. But yes, there are talks and movements about splitting up and joining hands with NDA. Also, the most important thing here to be noted is that a few days back, when Maharashtra's monsoon session was going on, at that particular time Sharad Pawar and Eknath Shinde met in Vidhan Bhavan in Eknath Shinde's cabin, and when Sharad Pawar entered that cabin, Eknath Shinde left the session half and he came and met Sharad Pawar. Also, though these speculations are denied by NCP-SP leaders, yes, there are some sources which are indicating that in the near future we will see that NCP-SP backing up the NDA's decision. Then it may be delimitation or one nation, one election. Over to you.
That's right. And in fact, a very big development, as you were saying too. Revati, thank you so much for joining us and giving us all of those inputs. And viewers, we move on to a major story. A huge fire has engulfed a pub in Bangkok early Monday, killing at least 27 people before firefighters brought the blaze under control, officials have said. Now, Thai Prime Minister Anutin has said that visited the area of the site and rows of bodies have been laid out at the scene as police and emergency crews worked around him. Now, footage also shared online by first responders shows the huge blaze raging and smoke pouring from the front door of the Na Lad Prao pub in the northern part of the Thai capital, with people trying to flee as thick black smoke billowed into the sky. Take a look at this report for more.
People injured.
เห็นคลิปวิดีโอแล้วก็แบบไฟมันลุกค่อนข้างไวมากก็เลยแบบเป็นห่วงที่ทำงานว่าลูกชายก็เลยแบบรีบมาดูก็ค่อนข้างตกใจค่ะ
ถ้าในเมื่อเข้าไปเอาเป็นว่าประสบการณ์ที่ผมเข้าไปก็คือโต๊ะมันก็ไม่ไหม้ปกติมันเป็นแค่ขมเหลาลงมาคุมโต๊ะแค่นั้นเองซึ่งโต๊ะมันก็เป็นไม้เป็นเชื้อเพลิงอย่างหนึ่งแหละใช่ไหมครับพอมันเป็นเชื้อเพลิงเนี่ยมันต้องไหม้ถูกไหมแต่สิ่งที่ผมเห็นนะมันจะไหม้เลยข้างบนด้านหลังทางซ้ายห้องน้ำอ่ะมันถูกมันมีทางออกอยู่ซึ่งออกมาแล้วมันจะอยู่หลังร้านในโปรสีชมพูเนี่ยครับมันจะเป็นลานกว้างๆเลยแต่เขาทางหน้าประตูเขาเขียนติดป้ายไว้ว่าเฉพาะเจ้าหน้าที่นะครับซึ่งมันถูกล็อกไว้ด้วยกลอนสน.พหลโยธินแล้วท่านจะทราบรุ่นน้องที่เป็นนักร้องค่ะแล้วก็มีนักดนตรีหลายคนเลยค่ะที่ตอนแรกสูญหายค่ะเพราะว่าทราบตอนแรกก็คือติดต่อใครไม่ได้เลยรู้แค่ว่าไฟไหม้แล้วรู้ว่าเพื่อนเล่นอยู่ที่นี่ก็เลยพยายามติดต่อเพื่อนๆที่อยู่ที่นี่ค่ะทีนี้มันจากคำบอกเล่าที่อยู่ข้างในก็คือว่าตอนไฟมันขึ้นมันมืดหมดเลยค่ะไฟดับหมดเลยแล้วก็มีแต่ควันเนี่ยก็คือมันก็มองหากันไม่เจออะไรเงี้ยไม่มันเป็นคนนักร้องเลยมันกำลังขึ้นร้องเลยI asked one musician that happened to be on the stage when the incident took place. He said that there was a fire at the
at the cutout switch, and after that things happened very quickly, and there was blasting, and everybody tried to free themselves from the smokes and the flame. So many of them were not able to make their way out because they went to the back of the building, tried to hide themselves away from the smokes and flames in the toilet, and that's where we found most of the bodies. Right now, we have been able to bring the deceased bodies out. There are already 27 bodies. The rest were sent to hospitals already, and we are still checking their conditions.
Yeah, the incident started around midnight, and then there are like 27 deaths and 63 people injured and 22 critical condition. ก็ว่ารายงานว่าอย่างนั้นนะก็คงไม่อยู่ในเราครับก็เข้าใจว่าไฟมันติดเร็วแล้วก็ไปตามThe source, the cause of the fire is still under investigation by the police department. But I think the fire brigade arrived within 5 minutes from the notification. But the fire already spread quickly and a lot of smoke and flame. So I think we have to investigate what is the really cause of the casualties.
And now shifting focus to a major good news. India finished the Asian Under-23 Athletics Championship 2026 held in Ordos, China with 16 medals, 3 gold, 4 silver and 9 bronze. The inaugural edition of the Under-23 Continental Meet, which ran from July 9 to 12. So close to 50 Indian athletes compete for the medals across both track and field events. The relay teams led the charge for India. They accounted for 4 medals, including gold in both the mixed and women's relays. Now, Shravani Sachin Sangle was the most successful Indian athlete, returning with 3 medals, including a gold each from the mixed 4x 400 meter and women's 4x1 400 meter relays as well. Now, she also bagged a bronze in the 400 meter hurdles. Let's take a look at this report for more updates.
India has finished 4th in the inaugural edition of the Asian Under-23 Athletics Championship 2026 held in China. Nearly 50 Indian athletes participated in the event, bagging a total of 16 medals across track and field events. The relay teams led the charge for India, accounting for 4 medals. Shravani Sachin Sangle was the most successful Indian athlete, returning with 3 medals, including a gold each from the mixed 4x400 meters and the women's 4x400 meters relay. She also bagged a bronze in the 400 meter hurdles. Shravani Sachin Sangle gave the quartet a strong start before Sandramol Sabu delivered a solid second leg, pulling clear of her Chinese rivals over the closing 100 meters.
Coming up next, after a very short break, Iran launches Eye for an Eye operation after fresh US strikes, targets US bases across Kuwait, Jordan and Bahrain. Coming up next.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये हित तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा आग और मसाला।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी बार एकदम सॉलिड।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
because our podcast wants to know. But I'm seeing a very soft version of Arnab. What did you expect? A mad guy shouting at the screen. I can't shut up. As debater or I'm a crazy debater. Facts everyone has. But I have brought back opinion into journalism because they didn't have the guts. I had the guts, I had the freedom, I had the intellect. I gave it my best shot. I still do it. There's no sense of how much money you want to make. No, it was always how much can you do. I used to be really proud seeing my father in uniform. I realized my father was doing something greater than his own job. If you were to again go back and look at from where you started as a journalist, so much. A junior Rahul would have spoken to a junior Arnab. Which Rahul?
Pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया?
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
की घटना है, यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ। जो रात में घटना घटी उसमें महिला घर में अकेली थी। हाँ, रात में 2-3 बजे की घटना है, यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ। जो रात में घटना घटी उसमें महिला घर में अकेली थी, उसके बच्चे बाहर थे, पति उसका परेशान जो है डेथ हो गई है। उसके घर में 2-3 बजे के आसपास कुछ लोग घुसे, 5-6 लोग बता रहे हैं, और उसमें जो है उनके साथ उनके घर में पूरी सर्च किया, उसका सामान वामान चांदी उंदी लिए हैं, और उसके साथ बलात्कार की घटना भी किया गया है। साथ ही कोई उसमें और उसके इंटरनल पार्ट में इंजरी है, जिससे लगता है कोई होटल मटेरियल वगैरह कुछ उसके साथ जो है प्रयास किया गया है। इसके बारे में पूरी जानकारी डॉक्टर से ली जा रही है, और इसमें उसको भी इंदौर रेफर किया गया है। महिला को वहाँ उनके इलाज के लिए रेफर किया गया है, तो पूरा ख्याल रखा जा रहा है। बाकी हम लोग पूरी टीम यहाँ पे जो है हमारी लगी है, एफएसएल की टीम भी आई है, हमारे जो फिंगरप्रिंट की टीम भी है, हमारे साइबर प्लस जो हमारी आसपास के थाने की टीम यहाँ पे आ गई है।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
The top headlines: India shines at the inaugural edition of Asian Under-23 Athletics Championship 2026 held in China, finishes fourth by clinching 16 medals across the events. The government says that it is now examining Meta's response on child sexual abuse content, appropriate action to follow. Supreme Court seeks SIT report in Ayodhya donation theft case, directs the team to issue notice to Ram Mandir Trust. After UBT Sena NCP-SP split next, sources indicate 5 Lok Sabha MPs likely to make the switch to NDA. US strikes central Iran, hits air defense systems, coastal radar sites, missiles and drone capabilities along with small boats. Iran launches eye for an eye operation after fresh US strikes targets US bases across Kuwait, Jordan and Bahrain. BJP sends legal notice to Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah on 30 crore charges, demands unconditional apology. Now, viewers, we begin with a major breaking news coming in at the moment. A U.S. national, reportedly a U.S. Navy and Special Forces soldier, was arrested near the Indo-Nepal border. And the latest, as the U.S. citizen has been arrested and the India-Nepal border, and a case also registered for illegal entry into India. Interrogation also reveals that his passport was lost in Thailand and that he had reached Sri Lanka via a sea route, but his attempt to travel to Nepal through India failed. The security agencies stationed at the border apprehended him, and at that time he had no valid travel documents with him during the time of questioning. And also the detained foreign national has been identified as Jordan Brown, a resident of California. A U.S. Navy and Special Forces police have also registered. He says that he claims to be a U.S. Navy and Special Forces. Now police have also registered a case against the U.S. citizen under sections 21 by 23 of the Immigration and Foreigners Act, and are proceeding with further legal action. Now, viewers, the arrest took place at the Sonauli border of the Indo-Nepal border and international crossing between India and Nepal. And he also told investigators that he had studied at the University of California and had served in the U.S. Navy and Special Forces for 6 years before leaving military service around 2 years ago. Now, he also said that both his parents passed away, and this after he was apprehended at the crossing of the India-Nepal border. And the station officer, Mahendra Mishra, has reported of this during interrogation. Now, according to police, the man also gave varying accounts of his travel within India. Now, he also claims to have arrived in Goa from the United States about 2 months ago, and he says that he stayed there for nearly 6 weeks and later traveled from Bengaluru to Lucknow by bus on July 8 before proceeding to Gorakhpur. Now, from there, he allegedly hired a taxi to reach the Sonauli border. Now, during questioning, he also claimed that he had come to Nepal to meet a person identified only as Naz, whom he described as a Nepalese national he had met in Goa. Now, he said that another acquaintance from Bengaluru was in possession of his passport. However, officials say that he was unable to provide complete address or verifiable details about either individual. Now, the man also told investigators that he had met an Indian woman from Uttarakhand in Italy 3 years ago and married her in October 2024. Now, he claimed that she works as a yoga instructor, and police said that the foreign national has repeatedly changed his statements during the time of interrogation. This has prompted security agencies to verify every aspect of his identity, his travel route, and also claims that he has met during the interrogations. We also have some reactions on this. Let's listen to that.
वो एसएसबी द्वारा सोनौली के पास एक व्यक्ति को अनधिकृत रूप से नेपाल में प्रवेश करने के कारण पकड़ा गया और उससे पूछताछ की गई तो उसने अपना नाम जॉर्डन ब्राउन बताया और बताया कि वह कैलिफोर्निया अमेरिका का नागरिक है। अन्य एजेंसी द्वारा भी उससे पूछताछ की गई। पूछताछ में उनके द्वारा बताया गया कि वह टूरिस्ट वीज़ा पर थाईलैंड गया था, जहां उसका पासपोर्ट गुम हो गया। फिर वह किसी माध्यम से जल मार्ग से श्रीलंका पहुंचा, जहां से 2 नवंबर 25 को वह जल मार्ग से ही भारत आया था। तब से वह गोवा में रह रहा था। आज वह नेपाल जाना चाह रहा था जब एसएसबी द्वारा उसको पकड़ा गया। उसके पास से कोई वैध प्रपत्र नहीं मिले हैं। उसके द्वारा बताए गए दावों की जांच की जा रही है कि बिना किसी वैध प्रपत्र के भारत में आने के आरोप में उसके विरुद्ध मुकदमा अपराध संख्या 68/26 अंतर्गत धारा 21/23 इमिग्रेशन एंड फॉरेनर्स एक्ट थाना सोनौली पर पंजीकृत कर अग्रेतर विधिक कार्रवाई प्रचलित है।
Well, viewers, that was the statement of the interrogating officer, the station officer, and this was the statement that he gave regarding the foreign national. He claims to be a U.S. citizen who claims that he hails from California and also was served in the U.S. Navy. He has various claims. He has made various claims during that time, and also he did not have any verifiable documents with him along that time, and he did not have his passport. He says that he has lost that in Thailand. He also says that somebody else took it from him. He also says that he met somebody who is identified as Naz in India, and he was going towards the Indo-Nepal border and to meet that person without giving much verifiable addresses on that. So this is a matter still under investigation. He has now been apprehended by the security agencies along the border and has been interrogated on his claims as well. And security agencies are picking up on this to verify further into some of the claims that he made. And interrogation also, in fact, reveals that he, in fact, had lost his passport in Thailand. That was one of the first claims that he said. And he also said that he had reached Sri Lanka via a sea route. And he also said that he reached Goa at first in India, that he directly traveled from the United States to Goa. And then after that, he also traveled to various other places in India and also met with a woman that he met about 3 years ago in Italy and married her, saying that she is also a yoga teacher in India. And he was, in fact, apprehended along the Sonali border, which is the Indo-Nepal border. And the security agencies are trying to verify some of the claims that he made. And he has been identified so far as Jordan Brown. He claims to be from California and also claims that he, in fact, served in the U.S. Navy. So these are some of the claims that he had given during the interrogation, although security agencies are trying to verify some of them as well. And he also says that all of his documents have now been lost so far and did not have it on them during the time of questioning. And in fact, according to police, the man had even said that he was serving in the special forces for 6 years before leaving the military around 2 years ago. And these are some of the latest that we're tracking. The station officer also said, Mahindra Mishra, he also said that they are going to undergo some more interrogations on him, the man who has been identified as Jordan Brown so far. And some of his claims need more verification as he did not have any documents at that time. And also he says that he was traveling to meet a man identified as Nas. Just that, has given just one word, Nas, and no further details about the person that he was about to meet in Nepal. And more information for investigation will in fact reveal who is that person that he was trying to meet. And he was apprehended at around Sonali area, the region where he was in fact traveling to meet this person, Nas. And the man also told investigators that he had met an Indian woman from Uttarakhand and that he married her. So these are some of the claims that he has made. And although he is now under the custody of the security agencies, who are still undergoing some interrogation on him and the claims that he made. And security agencies are also trying to verify all of every aspect of his claims that he made. And let us also take a listen to the police statement on this regard. Take a listen.
पास एक व्यक्ति को अनधिकृत रूप से नेपाल में प्रवेश करने के कारण पकड़ा गया और उससे पूछताछ की गई तो उसने अपना नाम जॉर्डन ब्राउन बताया और बताया कि वह कैलिफोर्निया अमेरिका का नागरिक है। अन्य एजेंसी द्वारा भी उससे पूछताछ की गई। पूछताछ में उनके द्वारा बताया गया कि वह टूरिस्ट वीज़ा पर थाईलैंड गया था, जहां उसका पासपोर्ट गुम हो गया। फिर वह किसी माध्यम से जल मार्ग से श्रीलंका पहुंचा, जहां से 2 नवंबर 25 को वह जल मार्ग से ही भारत आया था। तब से वह गोवा में रह रहा था। आज वह नेपाल जाना चाह रहा था जब एसएसबी द्वारा उसको पकड़ा गया। उसके पास से कोई वैध प्रपत्र नहीं मिले हैं। उसके द्वारा बताए गए दावों की जांच की जा रही है कि बिना किसी वैध प्रपत्र के भारत में आने के आरोप में उसके विरुद्ध मुकदमा अपराध संख्या 68/26 अंतर्गत धारा 21/23 इमिग्रेशन एंड फॉरेनर्स एक्ट थाना सोनोली पर पंजीकृत कर अग्रेतर विधिक कार्रवाई प्रचलित है।
Right, so that was the statement of the station officer saying that various sections of the Foreigners and Immigration Act has been put on him. And the man during questioning also said that he had come to Nepal to meet a person identified only as Nas. That's all the detail that he gave and did not even provide an address for this person that he was going to meet. And he said that this particular person, Nas, that he described is a Nepalese national and that somebody he had met in Goa during his visit there. And he also said that another acquaintance from Bengaluru was also in possession of his passport. So in this regard, he has given two differing claims about his passport. The first, he says that he has lost it in Thailand, and another part, he says that somebody from Bengaluru has in possession of his passport. At the time of questioning, he did not have any verifiable documents on him. But so far, security agencies are trying to confirm some of the claims that he made, and he is just now identified only as Jordan Brown, a man who hails from California, and he claims that he had served in the U.S. Navy for several years before retiring, and that he was traveling to Nepal along the Indo-Nepal border to meet a particular person named Nas, without giving any more details or address about who this person that he was going to meet, that person that he met in Goa while his travels were during his travels in India. He said that he traveled to Goa at first from the United States, and he traveled to various other places and also traveled to Sri Lanka, and that his documents were lost in Thailand. So these are many travels that he has made during this period of time, and says that he is now traveling towards Nepal to meet a Nepalese national who is identified, who he claims identified as Nas. Just one word of a name without giving any more address or any details about him. He is still under the custody of the security agencies, and various questioning will even reveal who this man is. For a national U.S. citizen, claims to be from California, and he is identified as Jordan Brown, and says that his passport has been lost in Thailand, and also says another claim that he made, that his passport is in the possession of another individual from Bengaluru. So some of the claims that he have made, police and security agencies are trying to verify these statements that he made during the time of questioning, but he did not possess the documents on him at that time. And he also says that he in fact traveled to Lucknow from Bengaluru by bus on July 8th, and after that he proceeded to travel to Gorakhpur. And from there, he allegedly hired a taxi to reach the Sonauli border. So this was a long ways to travel to Nepal, that he could have flown directly from there as well. But he took a bus from Lucknow on July 8th, that he says. And from there, he took a taxi to reach the Sonauli border. That's where he was apprehended by the security agencies and is now in the custody of the security agencies. This is, in fact, a big major development that we are tracking as it develops. And now, viewers, we move on to another story. As part of the Supreme Court's nationwide mediation initiatives, Samadhan Samaro 2026, the court administration invited parties in several disputes to explore an amicable settlement before a special Lok Adalat scheduled for the August 21 to 23, 2026 event. Now, both the Hindu plaintiffs and the Muslim mosque management bodies have rejected the proposal and informed the court and the concerned legal services authorities that they want the disputes decided through the regular judicial process instead of mediation. A major breaking development, viewers, this in regard as the event that's scheduled to take place of the Samadhan Samaro 2026. The Supreme Court has said that the nationwide mediation initiative, in fact, the Samadhan Samaro 2026, the court administration has invited parties in several disputes to explore settlements before a special Lok Adalat. And in fact, the Hindu plaintiffs and Muslim mosque management bodies have rejected this proposal of the Supreme Court, and they've said that the concerned legal service authorities that they want the dispute decided through regular judicial process and not by this particular mediation initiative. I'm now joined by my colleague Sarthak to give us more information on this. Sarthak, can you tell us a bit more about this mediation initiative that has been rejected by both the Hindu plaintiffs and the Muslim mosque? They say that they do not want to go through the mediation initiatives of the Supreme Court, saying that they would rather want the regular judicial process to settle the disputes. Tell us more on this. Well, Sarthak, if you can hear me, can you... I would like to know from you. So I was saying that the latest initiative of the Supreme Court, of the mediation initiative that the Supreme Court has formed, this Samadhan Samaro, and they have invited several parties to hear their disputes and to arrive to a settlement. And in fact, we're getting reports that some of the Hindu plaintiffs and the Muslim mosque management bodies have rejected this and said, and they say that they would like the normal, regular judicial process instead of this mediation. Tell us more on the latest and why they are rejecting this mediation and would seek a rather judicial process on this.
Well, right, Amrita, as I was saying before, you rightly mentioned that as per the Supreme Court's nationwide mediation initiative, which goes by the name Samadhan Samaro 2026, the court had invited parties to resolve their issues through mediation that was supposed to be conducted in a special Lok Adalat that was scheduled for August 21 to 23, 2026. However, the latest that we are getting, the disputes that were arising out of three important places of worship, which is first the Gyanvapi, which is in Varanasi, then the Mathura Shri Krishna Janmabhoomi, and then the Sambal Shahi Jama Masjid places of worship issue between Hindu parties and Muslim parties. They have mutually decided that they are not going to take the mediation route. Rather, they would be relying on the regular judicial process. So they have informed the Supreme Court that they are not in support of mediation, and they both have rejected the proposal and informed the court and all the concerned legal services authorities that they would be taking the judicial process. And certain arguments that they have placed in support of this, they have said that there are questions over the title of the immovable properties, which has to be addressed through regular judicial process only. This cannot be resolved through mediation. And they have also quoted the Places of Worship Special Provision Act of 1991. Which raises,
Sarthak, thank you so much for all of those, but we'll continue to track this and get back to you very soon. And now we have a big breaking news that's coming in at the moment, and we'll take that first, which is about Piyush Goyal refuting that the India-US trade deal talks have been stalled is false. He says on his post that he disputes and India has stalled, and in fact he says that he had a fantastic meeting with the US trade representative, and also that both sides have reaffirmed their commitment to an agreement that is balanced and commercially viable for all consumers and farmers as well. I'm now joined by my colleague Nitin from the newsroom to give us more details on this. Nitin, this is a major statement from Piyush Goyal, Commerce Minister. He says that there is no such thing as being stalled between the trade agreement of the US and India, and says that this is still fully functioning and going according to plan, and says that they are working on a project, they are working on a roadmap that is fully committed to both the farmers and the workers as well. Tell us more on that.
Exactly. So our Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal's tweet clarifies all the doubts that people had after certain reports surfaced online claiming that India and US trade deal was facing a major roadblock in terms of not being able to ascertain the kind of preferential treatment India would get on the dotted line in terms of preferential tariff treatment. But Piyush Goyal has clarified in his recent tweet, this is the biggest breaking in terms of business news across the country, that when conversation was held between both our Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal and Jameson Greer, the US trade representative, it went really well. India showed commitment and that on the fact that it will not be balanced or will give out in terms of its red lines, which is agricultural sector, dairy. What it basically mentioned in his tweet was both sides reaffirmed their commitment to an agreement that is balanced, commercially benefits both businesses in both countries, as well as farmers and workers and consumers across both United States and India. Back to you.
That's right. Thank you so much for all of those updates, Nitin. Thank you so much. And viewers, from that, we move on to another breaking story coming in at the moment. India's Trade Secretary Rajesh Agrawal has also made some statements on this. The US trade negotiations are progressing very well, and India and the US has, in fact, continued constructive engagement on the proposed trade deal. Commerce Secretary says that negotiations are progressing well with no major challenges in the ongoing talks. This is a supplement to what Piyush Goyal has also said, that there are no major hurdles between the trade negotiations between US and India, and in fact, trade negotiations with the US are progressing very well. This, in fact, has been stated again, and the latest as what Piyush Goyal has also said. We also have Nitin continuing to join us on this. Now, Nitin, this is again a supplement to what Piyush Goyal had said earlier, as saying that there are no major hurdles between the trade engagement, between the deal, and saying that the Commerce Secretary has in fact said that the negotiations are in fact progressing very well. Tell us more on that.
So what basically all of these government officials, including our Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, and what the Trade Secretary Rajesh Agrawal has mentioned, is the fact that the roadmap towards a clear India-US bilateral trade agreement is clearer than ever for both parties involved, for both of their teams, negotiators on both the United States side and India side. And currently what the Commerce Secretary is stating is that the India and US continue constructive engagement on the proposed trade pact. Now, this trade pact is part of a larger ambitious goal that both countries have set for them, which is $500 billion of trade, bilateral trade between both countries by 2030. So that's the goal, and that's the clarification from Piyush Goyal and the Commerce Secretary Rajesh Agrawal.
Yes, in fact, thank you so much for all of those updates and the details, and thank you so much. We'll continue to track the stories between the US and India trade deal. Thank you so much, Nitin, for joining us. And viewers, we move on to another story. Iran has now ruled out any attacks on countries in the region. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Baghai has said that only the US bases and its facilities are being targeted in Iran's defensive operations. And Tehran also reiterated that there will be no attacks on any neighboring countries. This is after there have been a series of escalation between the two regions. US CENTCOM has recently stated that they have completed another round of strikes against Iran, and Baghai has now further stated that these retaliatory attacks will only be targeting US bases and US facilities and not on the neighboring countries. This is unlike the earlier escalation that took place, that was an all-out escalation across the region that targeted various areas. In fact, now Iran has reserved their statement and saying that they will be targeting only the US bases across the region, on only the US facilities, and all the other nations are safe from their targets, and they are not targeting the region as a whole. At that, in this retaliatory attacks are only targeting the US bases, saying that no attacks on any neighboring countries will be done by Iran, and the retaliation is purely against the US bases and its facilities. And viewers, moving ahead, France has also taken a firm stance on Iran's nuclear program. Now, Jean-Noël Barrot, France Minister of Foreign Affairs, has assured that there will be no lifting of any sanctions against Iran as long as the country has not renounced its nuclear program. The statement comes, viewers, amid heightened tensions in West Asia and ongoing international efforts on the nuclear issue. Now, France has given their firm stance on the possession of nuclear by Iran, and has said, the French Minister of Foreign Affairs has assured that there will be no lifting of sanctions against Iran as long as the country has not renounced its nuclear program. France taking a firm stance, this after the NATO summit that happened recently. And moving on with more updates from Iran, Iran's Atomic Energy Organization has denied attack on Bushehr nuclear plant. Iran's Atomic Energy Organization, in fact, has denied that claims circulating on social media about an attack on the Bushehr nuclear power plant, stating that the facility is in a completely normal, safe and stable condition with all units operating without any interruption. This after a few days earlier, the Bushehr has been targeted, was a news that was released and was circulated online. And now Iran has now given a statement saying that the power plant, in fact, is still stable and operating, and it has been not attacked at all. This latest, as Iran has now said, Iran's Atomic Energy Organization has denied that any attack was carried out on the nuclear power plant, saying that the power plant is in fact completely normal, still safe and stable, and all of its units are operating without any interruption. And viewers, with that, we come to the end of this bulletin, but we'll be tracking more stories for you on the other side. Coming up after a very short break, India shines at the inaugural edition of the Asian Under-23 Athletics Championship 2026 held in China, finishes fourth by clinching 16 medals across the events. Coming up next.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री UPI QR ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी। प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा से MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
Rosa podcast wants to know, but I'm seeing a very soft version of Arnab. What did you expect? A mad guy shouting at the screen. I can't shut up. As debater, or I'm a crazy debater. Facts everyone has, but I have brought back opinion into journalism.
$13,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
की घटना है, मैं यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ। जो रात में घटना घटी उसमें महिला घर में अकेली थी। हाँ, रात में 2-3 बजे की घटना है।
India shines at the inaugural edition of Asian Under-23 Athletics Championship 2026. Finishes fourth by clinching 16 medals across the events. The government says that it is now examining Meta's response on child sexual abuse content. Appropriate action to follow. Supreme Court seeks a cited report on Ayodhya donation theft case. It directs the team to issue notice to Ram Mandir Trust. After Uddhav Sena, NCP-SP split next. Sources indicate 5 Lok Sabha MPs likely to make the switch to NDA. US strikes central Iran, hates air defense system, coastal radar sites, missile and drone capabilities along with small boats. Iran launches eye for an eye operation after fresh US strikes, targets US bases across Kuwait, Jordan and Bahrain. BJP sends legal notice to Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Umar Abdullah over 30 crore poaching charge, demands unconditional apology. Hello and welcome viewers. You're watching Live and Breaking on Republic TV with me, Ishita Mitra. Now viewers, our top focus at this hour. India showcased a strong performance at the inaugural Asian Under-23 Athletics Championship held in China. We clinched about 2 gold medals through javelin sensation Anand Singh and the formidable women's 4x400-meter relay team, contributing to a total haul of about 16 medals. Now the tally also included about 4 silver and 9 bronze medals, and the athletes in fact are expected to arrive in India tomorrow. It's a big, proud movement for the country. In fact, as we're celebrating our young athletes who clinched about a tally of 16 medals at the championship held in China. Now, this included about 3 gold medals, 4 silver medals, as well as 9 bronze medals. Now, as far as a tally on the medal table is concerned, India, in fact, clinched about the 4th position in China. In fact, my colleague Rakshita also joins us with more details on this. In fact, joining us also is the Chief of Athletics Federation with us. Rakshita, over to you.
Absolutely. We have the Chief Coach of Athletics Federation of India, Mr. Radhakrishnan Nair. It's an honor to have you, sir, and once again interact with you as India has achieved another, landmark as far as another milestone as far as athletics is concerned, and this is coming in just ahead of the CWG, sir. Beating China, a giant like China in athletics in their home grounds, with the gold medals, with these youngsters who till yesterday nobody knew, but today they're making us proud on the podium. We've seen those visuals today. How do you feel as a coach?
Thank you very much. And in fact, it shows the bench strength of Indian athletics for the future 20, 28, 32 and 36. In fact, this is the first edition. We could not send the many athletes as they were preparing for major championship like World Under-20, Commonwealth Games and Asian Games. So some of the eminent athletes were also not sent. And you can see the results of 4x400 men and women relay. Even it shows that we are best in Asia. And of course, though they were not a real team, but we can just see that this will be the one. Similarly, you can see the results of Javelin Pro. India is ruling Asia in Javelin Pro, even in Under-23. We had 2 medals, the gold medal and 1 silver, bronze medal.
Absolutely.
So totally, this shows the we have bench strength for the 2030, 2028, 32 and 2036.
Well, that's indeed very, very true, sir, and it gives us hopes for the upcoming tournaments and world events. But if we talk about the performances, especially if you talk about, you mentioned about javelin, so I'll start with that. Mr. Anand Singh, sir. Anand Singh clinched gold, reminded us of what our javelin star and Olympian Neeraj Chopra did, and we have now hopes in javelin as well. There are more and more fresh legs that are coming in as far as javelin is concerned, sir. So how do you feel? How is the training going in that direction? Because India is making a name in these games.
You said very correct. India, we have, I think, in about 15 athletes throwing above 80 meters. It is wonderful performance of in this event. And now we in India itself, we don't know who will be the champion, because we have Neeraj Chopra, we have Sachin Yadav, we have Rohit Yadav, we have Ishwar Singh. They all cross more than 85 meters, and we have Kishore Kumar Jain also. So even we are not able to predict who will be the Asian game, Commonwealth Games and Asian Games champion from India itself. And it is not only javelin. We can look into the result of 4x400 meter relay, men and women. This is in fact it is going to be happening. In fact, it will be happening in the coming Asian Games as well.
Absolutely. And a word about Shravani Sangle, her multi-medal stint there. She's been a breakout star as far as, the historic 3 medals is concerned, the relays, the mixed and the women's relays. How has been her journey? If you could just tell us more about Shravani.
She's an youngster, in fact, and she has not opened to many for more training. We can expect much better from her in the future. That is what I believe.
Right, sir. And we've also seen, Astik Pradhan also, case in point, how he, conquered his injury also. So what's really going behind the spirit of these youngsters, sir? What's been the most outstanding factor in your understanding as far as their performances and their grit to, finish to the podium is concerned?
This Odisha athlete is performing very good. And even in the junior level also he has performed good. Now he's under 23. We can expect much more performance. Even I said in the beginning, even 400 men,
yes,
we have got a big bench strength. You will not believe we have about 20 athletes running below 47 seconds in India.
Yes.
In junior as well as in senior.
Yes.
So Ashik Pradhan is a good for us, good hope for us, and I'm sure that he will be doing good in the future.
And sir, if you talk about athletics, we've seen in the past two editions of maybe the CWG, we also have seen it in the Olympics also. There's a lot of hope as far as athletics per se is concerned. And even there is some hopes in track and field also. In recent times, we've seen especially our women doing very, very well. So where is, what has changed in our training, in our approach is what I want to know from you, sir.
First of all, I already spoke to you earlier also.
Yes.
The Athletic Federation's policy of decentralizing us a lot, and this is the result of that. Now, an athlete can train wherever he wants and with whomever he like, or whomever he or she like. Earlier, it was a national coaching camp done for about long national coaching camp, about 300 days, 350 days, and some of 120 athletes were closely monitored and trained. But now it is not that. We are able to monitor about 2,000 athletes around the country and monitor them and nurture them, as well as the private organization like JSW, Reliance. They're also doing good support to develop athletics. And in addition, if you think about the support from the government, we have to say the support of the government is very high for us. In the last week before, within 24 hours, we got a visa to Poland and we are able to train at home at Spala, Poland, with the help of Ministry of Sports and Ministry of External Affairs and SAI. So real help from them. Otherwise, we are finding difficult to travel to Poland and get trained for the Commonwealth Games and Asian Games. So, government support, planning of Athletic Federation of India, and executing of it is making the results in athletics.
And so, are there still any challenges? Because we sometimes do see that there are some infrastructural issues also that athletes still come across, especially at the grassroots level. You mentioned about the companies. They, of course, groom the players once they, of course, start doing well. But for those who are just starting, and they need that kind of support in different areas of the country, that could be very, very difficult. So what's happening on that front, sir, and what more could be done?
In fact, if you ask me about infrastructure, India has got a very well organized infrastructure, even world class. But not everywhere. But as you ask me, for the grooming up of these young talents, across the country, we have many SAI training centers with qualified coach and with good facility. Also, we have 12 to 15 NCOEs. Only we are selecting and identifying the athletes and training them in country. That like for Sai Patiala, Sai NCA Patiala, Sai NCA Bangalore, Sai NCA Trivandrum, Sai NCA Sonipat, Sai NCA Calicut, Sai NCA at Bhopal. So like that. So there is no lack of infrastructure or government support or providing them for training. We need a good planning. That is what AFI is doing it. And we definitely improve in the future more. And better result we can expect.
Right, sir. And with this, you feel that, we are playing out some figures also that you might say no, there has been, of course, encouraging change also. But when we've always used this very cliche that it's a cricket crazy nation and, ups and downs crickets continue to happen today. This weekend we got contrasting images from the world of sports while, what happened in the world of cricket and, completely different news coming in as far as athletics is concerned. So, the kind of backing everything that is being given, you said, is very encouraging and it's very good. You feel that more could be done is the answer I'm trying to understand from you, sir. Can there be more a push that can be provided for our athletes so that they, the tally keeps ticking when we go to the CWG and when we go to the, the upcoming Olympic Games?
In fact, if I'm finding full support and full push to our athletes, and there is nothing lacking. Only thing, our athletes should be focused to train and to win. That's all I want to say about that. Otherwise, from the government side or from the federation or for athletic federation, there is no lack of supporting them, monitoring them, and nutrition.
And sir, how do you see this, performance? The upcoming Commonwealth Games. What are your hopes as far as that tournament, that event is concerned, and how do you see the tally going in that in those games?
Sure, it will be better than the last edition. That's all I can say now. It will be better than the last edition. Last edition, we will increase the number of medals and we will change the color of medals.
Right. Mr. Nair, you've trained the best of our athletes who have done us proud. So we take your word for that, and we really wish you and the contingent all the very best. And thank you so much. We hope to have more conversations on these occasions and more of such occasions to talk, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Back to the studio, Ishita.
All right, thanks Rakshita, and thanks to Mr. Radhakrishnan Nair as well. And now we are shifting focus to another news that we're covering at this hour. Now, US national, reportedly a US Navy and Special Forces soldier, has now been arrested near the Indo-Nepal border. A US citizen, in fact, has now been arrested at India-Nepal border, and a case has also been registered for illegal entry into the Indian territory. In fact, interrogation now revealed that his passport was lost in Thailand and he had reached Sri Lanka via sea route, but his attempt to travel to Nepal through India, in fact, failed. Security agencies stationed at the border apprehended him, and no valid travel documents were in fact found with him during the questioning. The detained foreign national has now been identified as Jordan Brown, who claims that he's a resident of California and a US Navy and Special Forces soldier. So these are the claims being made by Jordan, who's now been apprehended at India-Nepal border. Police at the moment have now registered a case against the US citizens under Section 21 and 23 of the Immigration and Foreigners Act, and are in fact proceeding with further legal action. Now remember, the arrest took place at Sonauli, a border and international crossing between India and Nepal. And during the investigation, Jordan told investigators that he had studied at the University of California and had also served in the US Navy and Special Forces for about 6 years before leaving military service. In fact, we also have a reaction coming in from the police officer regarding the arrest of the US national. Let's take a listen.
वो एसएसबी द्वारा सोनौली के पास एक व्यक्ति को अनधिकृत रूप से नेपाल में प्रवेश करने के कारण पकड़ा गया और उससे पूछताछ की गई तो उसने अपना नाम जॉर्डन ब्राउन बताया और बताया कि वह कैलिफोर्निया अमेरिका का नागरिक है। अन्य एजेंसी द्वारा भी उससे पूछताछ की गई। पूछताछ में उनके द्वारा बताया गया कि वह टूरिस्ट वीज़ा पर थाईलैंड गया था, जहां उसका पासपोर्ट गुम हो गया। फिर वह किसी माध्यम से जल मार्ग से श्रीलंका पहुंचा, जहां से 2 नवंबर 25 को वह जल मार्ग से ही भारत आया था। तब से वह गोवा में रह रहा था। आज वह नेपाल जाना चाह रहा था जब एसएसबी द्वारा उसको पकड़ा गया। उसके पास से कोई वैध प्रपत्र नहीं मिले हैं। उसके द्वारा बताए गए दावों की जांच की जा रही है कि बिना किसी वैध प्रपत्र के भारत में आने के आरोप में उसके विरुद्ध मुकदमा अपराध संख्या 68/26 अंतर्गत धारा 21/23 इमिग्रेशन एंड फॉरेनर्स एक्ट थाना सोनौली पर पंजीकृत कर अग्रेतर विधिक कार्रवाई प्रचलित।
All right, joining us on the broadcast is now Major Samar Paltur. Major Tur, how do you look at this incident from security point of view? A US national who claims to have served in US Navy and Special Forces has now been arrested along the India-Nepal border, and in fact, no valid travel documents were found with him.
Now the issue is, what my question is, why is it that in India, I mean, we are arresting, be it Maharashtra, be it in the northeast from Calcutta, why are we arresting the American nationals who have a military background? That is the common thing which is coming in amongst everybody.
Right.
And now this is the third case. So there was one American officer who retired and was a pastor who was converting the people in Maharashtra. He was picked up. Then Matthew Van Dyke, we definitely know he's a stooge of the CIA.
Right.
He's been the trainer and the distributor. So he's been another mercenary on the loose who's been creating unrest in the Northeast. Now this is another individual who is caught at the border of India and Nepal. So they're definitely trying to create some issue amongst these northeastern states and countries. You have Bhutan, you have Nepal, we have India there, we have Myanmar there, we have Bangladesh there. It's a very sensitive area where we are bordering with many other countries. So it's very easy for the Americans to plant a false flag operation and stir up a misunderstanding between Nepal and India, and probably then India gets busy in tackling the problems from Nepal border itself. So this is a indicator and a evidence that yes, American deep state is very much involved. They are up to some planning which is not in the favor of India. President Trump 2 weeks back himself, disclosed that they spent $21 million in the last elections, in which the victim was ab ki baar 400 par. The BJP couldn't cross 400, despite being very sure of the majority, because the Americans pumped in $21 million. And just prior to the elections, the Americans were visiting only the opposition and Congress ministers in various states. For what? So basically, their bluff has been called out. This US citizen who's been arrested, he needs to be interrogated. His route needs to be again rechecked, from which route he entered. Probably they're saying he's coming from Sri Lanka as well. So Sri Lanka needs to be contacted. Thailand needs to be contacted, because that is the detail that his passport is disclosing. That he's been in Thailand, he's been to Sri Lanka, now he's in Nepal. Then what is the requirement of
sorry to interrupt you there, but as you've rightly pointed out, that there is a pattern that's now emerging as far as these Americans' arrests are concerned. You had two being nabbed in Srinagar, then somebody from Northeast as well. Van Dyke was there, and now Jordan Brown as well. So do you think that there is a deliberate attempt being played there to create unrest in India?
I certainly feel CIA is having a very active role in this.
Okay.
Similarly, they have again done a crackdown on the so-called Bishnoi gang and their made-up story that RAW is helping the Bishnoi gang operate on foreign soil, whereas the Indian government had already warned the consulate in Canada about the Bishnoi gang. They'd want the Americans to take action against the Bishnoi gang, and now that they've started, taking action, they are blaming the Indian government, and they are, putting false allegations that there's allegiance of RAW with the Bishnoi gang. So these are baseless allegations only because Matthew Van Dyke is not being granted bail for the anti-terror activities that he'd been doing. He'd been running a terror training camp in the Northeast.
Right.
He'd been distributing drones and bulletproof jackets and weapons. So I think it is high time that the Indian Ministry of External Affairs sits in front of the American diplomatic mission and they talk face to face with the diplomatic officials and, to draw a red line that these are the red flags which will not be tolerated by India anymore, and it will only deteriorate the relations between US and India in months to come.
All right, so very, very concerning, in fact, a development coming to light with the arrest of Jordan Brown. Thanks so much, Major Tur, for joining us and decoding all the developments related to this on us. Now, viewers, in fact, shifting focus to what is now taking place in Thailand. A huge fire now engulfed a pub in Bangkok early morning, killing about 27 people, and this is before the firefighters brought the blaze under control. Thai Prime Minister also visited the site with the rows of bodies laid out at the scene as police and emergency crews worked around him. Footage that was shared online by first responders showed a huge blaze raising and smoke pouring from the front door of the pub in northern part of the Thai capital, with people in fact trying to flee as thick black smoke bellowed into the sky. Here's a detailed report on the entire rescue op and what exactly triggered the blaze in the first place. Take a look.
63 people injured.
เห็นคลิปวิดีโอแล้วก็แบบไฟมันลุกค่อนข้างไวมากก็เลยแบบเป็นห่วงที่ทำงานว่าใช่ก็เลยแบบรีบมาดูก็ค่อนข้างตกใจค่ะ
ถ้าในเมื่อเข้าไปเอาเป็นว่าประสบการณ์ที่ผมเข้าไปก็คือโต๊ะมันก็ไม่ไหม้ปกติมันเป็นแค่เขม่าลงมาบนโต๊ะแค่นั้นเองซึ่งโต๊ะมันก็เป็นไม้เป็นเชื้อเพลิงอย่างหนึ่งแหละใช่ไหมครับพอมันเป็นเชื้อเพลิงเนี่ยมันต้องไหม้ถูกไหมแต่สิ่งที่ผมเห็นนะมันจะไหม้ถึงข้างบนด้านหลังทางซ้ายห้องน้ำอ่ะมันถูกมันมีทางออกอยู่ซึ่งออกมาแล้วมันจะอยู่หลังร้านไอโตสีชมพูเนี่ยครับมันจะเป็นลานกว้างๆเลยแต่เขาทางหน้าประตูเขาเขียนติดป้ายไว้ว่าเฉพาะเจ้าหน้าที่นะครับซึ่งมันถูกล็อกไว้ด้วยกลอน
สน.พหลโยธินแล้วท่านจะทราบ
รุ่นน้องที่เป็นนักร้องอะค่ะแล้วก็มีนักดนตรีหลายคนเลยค่ะที่ตอนแรกสูญหายค่ะเพราะว่าทราบตอนแรกก็คือติดต่อใครไม่ได้เลยรู้แค่ว่าไฟไหม้แล้วรู้ว่าเพื่อนเล่นอยู่ที่นี่ก็เลยพยายามติดต่อเพื่อนๆที่อยู่ที่นี่ค่ะทีนี้มันจากคำบอกเล่าที่อยู่ข้างในก็คือว่าตอนไฟมันขึ้นมันมืดหมดเลยค่ะไฟดับหมดเลยแล้วก็มีแต่ควันอย่างเงี้ยก็คือมันก็มองหากันไม่เจออะไรเงี้ย
ไม่มันเป็นคนนักร้องเลยมันกำลังขึ้นร้องเลย
I asked one musician that happened to be on the stage when the incident took place. He said that there was a fire at the cutout switch, and after that things happened very quickly, and there was blasting, and everybody tried to flee themselves from the smokes and the flame. So many of them were not able to make their way out because they went to the back of the building, tried to hide themselves away from the smokes and flames in the toilet, and that's where we found most of the bodies. Right now, we have been able to bring the deceased bodies out. For there are already 27 bodies. The rest were sent to hospitals already, and we are still checking their conditions.
Yeah, the incident started around midnight, and then there are like 27 deaths and 63 people injured and 22 critical condition. ก็ว่ารายงานว่าอย่างนั้นนะว่าคงไม่อยู่ในนั้นครับก็เข้าใจว่าไฟมันติดเร็วแล้วก็ไปตามThe source, the cause of the fire is still under investigation by the police department. But I think the fire brigade arrived within 5 minutes from the notification. But the fire already spread quickly and a lot of smoke and flame. So I think we have to investigate what is the really cause of the casualties.
All right, viewers, now shifting focus of video from Hyderabad has now gone viral after a police officer was allegedly seen allowing a minor girl to drive a car on a busy road. Now, the incident has caused a traffic jam and raised serious concerns over road safety. Locals who question the officer say he defended his actions instead of acknowledging the violation. Following the backlash, a case has now been registered against Pujari Tirupati for permitting a minor girl to drive. DGP Telangana Anand IPS posted, in fact, on X that he has now directed the CP Cyberabad to suspend the concerned officer and initiate a departmental inquiry into this matter. In fact, my colleague Aishwarya also joins us with more details on this. Aishwarya, it's a shocking video that has now gone viral. A police officer who's supposed to ensure that all the other people follow rules was seen himself flouting the road safety norms.
Well, absolutely. Like you pointed out, a police officer himself is being violating one of the major rule, that is not letting a minor drive the car, because as we see, there are several cases of minor driving the cars which led to accidents, which is not new to us or new to the news as well. But however, a 6.5-year-old girl was given the wheels of a car, and that too in a very narrow road, causing severe traffic jam. And even though being confronted, the police officer was showing arrogance and telling that he is the police officer in that particular area, and that is the reason he is giving the car and he can do whatever he wants. And we can also see the arrogance that was reflected, and he was also telling that he was giving an explanation and justifying his action, telling that that car was an automatic car and it doesn't have a gear system. And though the wheels of the car is in the hands of his granddaughter, he still has the entire control of the car. But what the locals were saying is that because of this particular incident, an entire lane was given was stuck in a traffic congestion, and because of the car was not moving forward. And when they actually thought it was a technical fault, and that is the reason they went on to help. But when they saw a 6.5-year-old girl driving the car, they questioned the SI, and he in fact replied with arrogance. The video which went viral and
so in fact flouting the norms, Aishwarya, and risking other people's lives on road and then being defiant about it is the attitude we're getting from this very police officials. We hope that the action is in fact taken in this case. Thanks for joining us. And now viewers, slipping into a very short break, but don't go anywhere. Coming up right after a break, the government now says it is examining Meta's response on child sexual abuse content, and appropriate action will follow.
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री यूपीआई क्यूआर, ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी बार एकदम सॉलिड।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से। MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH।
Rosa podcast wants to know, but I'm seeing a very soft version of Arnab. What did you expect, a mad guy?
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से। MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ।
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा, आर प्योर मसाला।
की घटना है, मैं यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
India shines at the inaugural edition of the Asian Under-23 Athletics Championship 2026 held in China. Finishes fourth by clinching 16 medals across the events. The government says it is now examining Meta's response on child sexual abuse content. Appropriate action to follow. SC seeks, Supreme Court is now seeking SIT report in Ayodhya donation case, directing the team to issue notice to Ram Mandir Trust. After UBT Sena, NCP-SP split next, sources indicate 5 Lok Sabha MPs are likely to make the switch to NDA. US strikes central Iranian, hits air defense systems, coastal radar sites, missiles and drone capabilities along with small boats. Iran launches Eye for an Eye operation after fresh US strikes. They target US bases across Kuwait, Jordan and Bahrain. And the BJP sends a legal notice to Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Umar Abdullah on 30 crore charge, demand an unconditional apology. Good evening, welcome to Republic, your top focus story today. POK protesters issue a final ultimatum to Pakistan. It's either martyrdom or accept our rights. Khwaja Mehran advocates' announcement at the Raul Court sit-in protest is clear. Protesters are saying we're only demanding basic rights that were promised to us. I want to go across to my colleague Gursimran to throw light on this final ultimatum to Pakistan. How is this going to now play out, Gursimran? We are seeing a massive sit-in protest in Raul Court.
Yes, if we speak of the present situation, the sit-in protests are continuing in the Dhir Eric Cricket Stadium in the Ravla Court, and the people are thronging from different parts of the Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir to Ravla Court. Now, the protesters in Ravla Court have come out with the new statement in which they have completely conveyed it to the Pakistani establishment that this is a do or die. They said that either our demands are met or we die. It is only the solution that is now left to them. And that's a reality, because we have seen that starting from 2024, 25 and 26, there have been a series of protests that have taken place. Despite assurances being given, there have been no
can see, let's listen into the reaction that's actually coming in. Let's listen into the natural sound of what's happening there at the massive sit-in protest in Raul Court.
मौजूद हर एक फर्द ने दिल में बात है कि या शहादत कबूल करनी है या फतह लेके वापस लौटना है। तीसरा कोई ऑप्शन मौजूद नहीं है। असा जरूर अग्गे बढ़सा और पूरे यकीन नाल अपनी मामा की आखना अपनी भैणा की आखना कि असा जिस जबर ने अंदर पिछले 80 साल गुजारे हैं, तीसरी कोई बात नहीं होनी चाहिए। यार पिंडाल मौजूद हर एक फर्द ने दिल में बात है कि या शहादत कबूल करनी है या फतह लेके वापस लौटना है। तीसरा कोई ऑप्शन मौजूद नहीं है। असा जरूर अग्गे बढ़सा और पूरे यकीन नाल अपनी मामा की आखना अपनी भैणा की आखना कि असा जिस जबर ने अंदर पिछले 80 साल गुजारे हैं, तीसरी कोई बात नहीं होनी चाहिए। यार पिंडाल मौजूद हर एक फर्द ने दिल में बात है कि या शहादत कबूल करनी है या फतह लेके वापस लौटना है। तीसरा कोई ऑप्शन मौजूद नहीं है। असा जरूर अग्गे बढ़सा और पूरे यकीन नाल अपनी मामा की आखना अपनी भैणा की आखना कि असा जिस जबर ने अंदर पिछले 80 साल गुजारे हैं, तीसरी कोई बात नहीं होनी चाहिए।
Gursim, these are exclusive pictures that you've got us. What is going to happen as the POK protesters have had enough? It's an ultimatum to Pakistan. There's going to be martyrdom or acceptance of the rights. How serious and how soon do you think there will be the next step in this protest?
See, we are 2 days to the next step that has been already announced, that is on the 15th of July, when the protesters in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, they will come on the streets of POJK. They have given the long march call, and that is going to start from the Rawalakot and will head towards Muzaffarabad. As we speak today, we have seen large-scale protests taking place. Even the students in uniforms, school uniforms, have come out on the streets of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In the Eric cricket ground area, they have held the protest, holding the banners that they want peace. They have also sought the intervention of the United States and have said that we are not terrorists as we have been fired upon. So they have sent a message to the Pakistan establishment that starting from 8 to 80, all are on the streets of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, because this time it is their democratic rights, this time it is their humanitarian rights that are the fundamental rights of any of the people living on the earth. But Pakistan has subjected them to the torture. Brute use of force is what has become a new normal in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and now they want that either they die or they get their rights, because they also know that the life without these rights is no life for them. It is only passing the time that they have been doing for years, and this time they want an absolute solution. They want their demands to be met so that they can live a life with dignity, with peace, and with access to their own resources.
All right, thank you, Gursimran, for giving us those details, a top focus that we'll continue tracking. Meanwhile, viewers, shifting focus to Karnataka, where the AI township project tensions are escalating at the Kodiyala in Vidadi during the official land survey that happened as farmers led by women staged a fierce protest. They were carrying brooms opposing the survey. They demanded officials stop the process. It turned violent as farmers allegedly pelted stones. Windshield of an official car was shattered, resulting in further confrontation between farmers and police. I want to go across to Abhishek to get sense of these protests. Abhishek, what is the reason that the land survey exercise turned violent in Karnataka? A police intervention was needed to prevent them, leading to heated arguments between the women and the security personnel. We're also being told, in fact, viewers, that the windshield of an official's car was shattered at this attack. Protesters had blocked vehicles. They continued raising slogans. Take a look at that, and then we go to my colleague. Abhishek, we're looking at the visuals that are coming in, very strong visuals. It's clear that the protests have turned violent. What's the reason this is happening, and how is the government going to try and keep this under control?
Well, the government has announced that it will continue with the Biddi Township project despite thousands of farmers located in and around Biddi who are against that. We've also seen the eruption in the political sector where the BJP and JDS are clearly against the Biddi Township project because of the natural resources present at Biddi. So the government has told that it will be taking into its consideration the entire land in and around Biddi. And the survey works had started today. At this point of time, the visuals very clearly speak where the women of Biddi have carried broomsticks and have also pelted stones against officials who were present at Biddi to start with the survey. It is a very clear indication that the farmers and the people of Biddi are against the township project which is about to come in the Biddi in the next couple of years, if at all the government proceeds or plans or executes the plan as per its plan. On the other hand, this is a very clear message to the political party Congress who is running the government in the state of Karnataka that no farmer will accept the township in and around Biddi. On the other hand, we've seen that the police had to intervene and interfere to make sure that the position or the situation is taken under control. Even the police were attacked on a humanity basis. The people didn't want to attack the police because they were there to make sure that the situation doesn't turn any wrong any forth. So this point of time, we shouldn't forget the fact that the farmers are against the project of township. The BJP and JDS is against the project of township. It's only the Congress government along with DK Shivkumar, who is the Chief Minister, who's along with the project, who wants the project to be brought into force no matter what. We've also seen the leaders of the Congress party itself, the ministers in the cabinet of Sidramaya and DK Shivkumar, on various other notes had mentioned that they do not want to continue with this project because the farmers are opposing that. We will have to see how this unfolds in the next couple of days with them.
All right, now as you're telling us what's happening there, Abhishek, the one question that I wanted to ask is, How did these protests begin? Are they getting sponsored? What is happening, and what is the reason that the protesters have been able to achieve this kind of lawlessness that we are seeing there?
Well, the Karnataka government had decided there will be a township which will be emerging in Bidadi in and around 9,000 acres of the farmers' land to be taken over by the Karnataka government, where at least lakhs and lakhs of trees are planted for the last couple of decades. The green mat would completely be lost. The agriculture land would be lost to a township. The water will be lost to the AI or the township which will be coming up in Bidadi. And the farmers had very clearly mentioned that they know nothing else other than agriculture, and they will be left jobless and they will be left landless for the next couple of generations. The farmers had also mentioned that they aren't ready to give up their agricultural land, which is their ancestral land, to any government project or any township, because the only survival means is agriculture to the farmers of Bidadi. Despite knowing the fact, it was the Congress government which wanted to continue in the leadership of DK Shivkumar for the Bidadi township project. BJP and JDS, who are a part of NDA, had very openly mentioned that DK Shivkumar, in the respect of Bidadi issue, is only creating a real estate mafia and not helping the farmers, and is not creating any township. Despite the political parties opposing the plan of DK Shivkumar, the Congress government wanted to continue with the Bidadi township project by taking 9,000 plus acres, and this is when the survey officers visited Bidadi area to start their survey, and this incident has broken out.
Thank you, Abhishek, for giving us those details. We'll track that story closely. Viewers, moving to the big story that was investigated right here. The Ministry Secretary on Meta child sexual abuse scandal has spoken up. They have said Meta has responded on the scam on Saturday, and they have stated Republic reported, remember, on the child sexual abuse material on Meta. The investigation showed CSAM material was still on Meta platforms. Now the ministry has stated and clearly stated that the government is now examining the response on child abuse content by Meta. The government says appropriate action will be taken on Meta after due examination. Let me go across to Nitin, who's joining us from the newsroom, the digital newsroom. Nitin, a few days ago, we saw how you were one of the first journalists to have tried to get a response from Meta. You tried to confront them. Finally, Meta's actions are under the scanner. How soon do you think the government could be acting? Any other word that you've had with Meta itself?
Right, we've obviously spoken to a lot of former Meta officials, and they're so worried about the consciousness with the Meta is functioning as an organization in our country. Because, you know, few minutes back, our team was investigating again the kind of content. Has Meta, in fact, taken any kind of corrective measures, steps that could matter? Because they're still answerable to the people of India at large, specifically to the mothers in the country. And we saw that as soon as you search, you know, like simple terms, 4-letter terms like teen, child, and you get the most disturbing graphic content on their platforms. It is still available. And they've gotten views over 15 million. So obviously that speaks to it's not only a question anymore of just the AI guardrails at place. It's a question of their consciousness as an organization which runs social media platforms in a country as large as India. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Nitin, for giving us those details. It's a focus story that we'll continue tracking. Moving on to the other big focus, viewers, Piyush Goyal has spoken on the India-US trade deal talks. The Union Commerce Minister has said trade deal talks with US are on track. In fact, he has said that he had a fantastic meeting with the USTR Jameson Greer when he visited Delhi in June. He's also said both sides have reaffirmed their commitment to an agreement that is balanced, commercially meaningful, and also something that will deliver tangible benefits for businesses. He's also gone on to state very clearly that farmers, workers, consumers in both countries are going to benefit. He says our teams are fully engaged in achieving this objective. Let me go across to Nitin joining us live also on the story. Nitin, it's very clear there are people who are naysayers, but Piyush Goyal says the US-Indo trade talks are on track.
Exactly. So the fact of the matter remains that all of the ruckus in terms of how the India-US trade deal is progressing was sort of in the news today after a Reuters report. Now what Piyush Goyal has blatantly and very clearly mentioned as part of his latest tweet is that the Reuters report is baseless, both false and as well as misleading. So he's basically clearing out the air in terms of where India and US both are headed for and they're obviously expecting very soon to have a trade deal that leads to an overall bilateral trade relations worth 500 billion for both the United States and India. And obviously he's mentioned certain things that clears the air out in terms of misconception that's been brewing in the markets since Reuters' latest report. Now he's mentioned that both sides reaffirmed their commitment to an agreement for a very balanced, commercially meaningful and a trade deal that delivers tangible benefits for businesses both in India and the United States. Back to you.
All right, thank you for giving us those details, Nitin. It's a focus story that we track. Now, viewers, the other focus and important news that's coming in, the Supreme Court has said it's time for mediation and initiative. The Samadhan Samroha 2026 initiative has been taken. The Supreme Court sends all the pending cases for out-of-court settlement. The Mandir Masjid disputes, it's a big move by the Supreme Court. The Samadhan Samroha Lok Adalat has been announced. Notices have been sent to all the Hindu and the Muslim parties. And now it's going to be there that we are going to see this move. Whether it's Gyanvapi case or the other cases, we're going to see this. Let me also go across to my colleague Sarthak joining us on the story. The Supreme Court sends the pending cases as Gyanvapi, Mathura, Sambhal cases referred to this Lok Adalat has been announced. Let me go across to Sarthak. Sarthak, this is a big move. We've seen this earlier also when I remember Republic TV had covered the steps that had been taken during the Ayodhya hearing when mediation had been something that the Supreme Court had considered. I think it's the same view right now. It's mediation initiative taken by the top court. I don't know how successful it will be, but it's an important move, Sarthak, to send all these cases now to mediation.
Well, absolutely, Rhythm. It is a similar kind of situation. As a matter of fact, some time ago, Supreme Court had invited parties to resolve their disputes through mediation, and they were also conducting this nationwide mediation initiative, which goes by the title Samadhan Samaro 2026, which was supposed to be conducted from August 21 to 23, and both Hindu and Muslim parties were invited to resolve their disputes regarding certain religious places and there are typically three locations and three worship places of worship dispute. One is the Gyanvapi Mosque in Varanasi, the other one is the Shahi Idgah Mosque, and the third one is the Shahi Jama Masjid in Sambhal. So these were the three places that were in dispute. They have been in dispute for a very long time, and both the Hindu litigants and Muslim parties were invited to resolve the dispute through mediation. However, at this point, the latest that we are getting, it seems like that idea has completely gone for the toss, because both sides, both the Hindu and Muslim parties, have mutually decided that they would not be relying on mediation, they would not be going for mediation, and they would go for the typical judicial process. And because the major argument that they have put forth before the court is that the dispute involved questions over the title of the immovable property, whether it was a mosque, whether it was a temple, and they have also raised certain constitutional and legal issues like interpretation of the Places of Worship Special Provisions Act 1991. And the third thing that they have mentioned, that they believe that these issues required authoritative judicial determination. So judicial intervention is important. These things cannot be resolved through dialogue. These things cannot be resolved through mediation. These things have to go through a regular judicial process, and therefore both the Muslim and Hindu litigants have decided that they would not be relying upon mediation. They would be taking the judicial process, and they have completely rejected the idea of mediation that was proposed by Supreme Court and that was supposed to be conducted during this Samadhan Samaro 2026 that was supposed to happen from August 21 and 23. Now it seems like this entire dispute, much like the Ram Janmabhoomi case, this will also take a different turn, and a regular judicial process will have to be followed in order to determine this places of worship.
Thank
Rhythm.
you, Sarthak, for giving us details. Very, very clearly, Sarthak elucidates how this case is going to proceed. Now, viewers, we're also going to move on to what's making headlines across the nation. Eggs were thrown allegedly at former TMC candidate Tithnankar Ghosh while he was being escorted out of Kharda police station. Police intervened to prevent any escalation. Security was tightened in the area. Floodwaters have inundated Naharani village in Assam's Lakhimpur district following heavy rainfall. Vast stretches of crop fields, roads and pathways remain submerged, affecting normal life, disrupting connectivity. A joint rescue operation was launched after 2 JKRTC buses carrying Shri Amarnath Ji Yatra pilgrims in a car collided on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway in Ramban. All the injured were shifted to district hospital for treatment. A Hyderabad sub-inspector has been booked after a video showed his 6-year-old granddaughter driving a car on a public road. The officer claimed he was preparing her for Guinness World Record. Police registered a case citing safety concerns and traffic law violations. Typhoon Bavi has made a powerful landfall in eastern China's Zhejiang province, packing maximum sustained winds of 142 kilometers per hour. Regarded as the strongest storm to hit the Chinese mainland this year, Bavi triggered massive evacuations, forcing nearly 2 million people out of high-risk coastal regions into emergency shelters. The nation's meteorological agency issued the first red alert for rainstorms alongside an orange typhoon alert, leading to the mass cancellation of over 1,000 flights, trains, ferry services across Shanghai, Hangzhou and neighboring provinces. Before striking China, the storm system intensified deadly monsoonal landslides in the Philippines and brought severe weather to parts of Taiwan and also southern Japan.
shit.
And coming up after a short break, we get you more details as the Supreme Court now seeks an SIT report in the Ayodhya donation theft case. They direct the teams to issue notice to Ram Mandir Trust.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
सबका राजा आरती और मसाला।
Rosa podcast wants to know, but I'm seeing a very soft version of Arnab. What did you expect? A mad guy shouting at the screen. I can't shut up. As debater, or I'm a crazy debater. Facts everyone has, but I have brought back opinion into journalism because they didn't have the guts. I had the guts, I had the freedom, I had the intellect. I gave it my best shot. I still do it. There's no sense of how much money you want to make. No, it was always how much can you do. I used to be really proud seeing my father in uniform. I realized my father was doing something greater than his own job. If you were to again go back and look at from where you started as a journalist, so much. A junior Rahul would have spoken to a junior Arnab. Which Rahul?
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे। AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने। मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा सिप। MTH का जलजीरा जीरा सिप।
जीरा सिप, असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH।
की घटना है, मैं यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ। जो रात में घटना घटी उसमें महिला घर में अकेली थी। हाँ, रात में 2-3 बजे की घटना है, मैं यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ। जो रात में घटना घटी उसमें महिला घर में अकेली थी, उसके बच्चे बाहर थे, पति उसका जो है डेथ हो गई है। उसके घर में 2-3 बजे के आसपास कुछ लोग घुसे, 5-6 लोग बता रहे हैं, और उसमें जो है उनके साथ उनके घर में सर्च किया, उसका सामान चांदी लिए।
Good evening. Welcome to Republic. Our top focus is going to be on the Middle East war, where we are seeing escalating tensions. We are seeing Iraq has again and now started to attack the US bases near them in Jordan, Kuwait, Oman. We're also seeing how the US has continued and escalated its attack on Iran. That's a top focus story that we're going to track and really try and understand whether the Strait of Hormuz is closed or open, even as Iran's come out with a chilling list of 13 leaders, foreign leaders, that it wishes to terminate. Take a look at our headlines. A big focus story on Iran, but before that, the top focus, good news for India. India shines at the inaugural edition of the Asian Under-23 Athletics Championship 2026 held in China, finishes 4th by clinching 16 medals across the events. The government says it's now examining Meta's response on child sexual abuse content. Appropriate action will follow. The Supreme Court seeks SIT report in Ayodhya donation theft case. Notice issued to Ram Mandir Trust. After UBT Sena NCP split next, sources indicate 5 Lok Sabha MPs likely to make switch to NDA. US strikes central Iranian, hits air defense systems, coastal radar sites, missiles and drone capabilities along with small boats. Iran launches an eye for an eye operation after fresh US strikes, targets US bases across Kuwait, Jordan and Bahrain. And BJP sends legal notice to Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister on 30 crore charge, demands an unconditional apology. Good evening. Welcome to Republic, our top focus story. Coming in from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, protesters who are issuing a fresh ultimatum to Pakistan. It's either martyrdom or accept our rights. Khwaja Mehran advocates' announcement at Rawalkot sit-in protest is clear. Protesters say we demand basic rights that were promised to us. I want to go across to Gursimran. But first, we're going to take this reaction, the sounds that are naturally coming from there. Take a look.
क्या फतवा लेके वापस लौटना है तीसरा कोई ऑप्शन मौजूद नहीं है असं जरूर अग्गे बढ़सा और पूरे यकीन ना अपनी मामा की आखना अपनी भैणा की आखना कि असा जिस जबर ने अंदर पिछले 80 साल गुजारे हैं तीसरी कोई बात नहीं होनी चाहिए यार पिंडाल मौजूद हर एक फर्द ने दिल ये बात है कि या शहादत कबूल करनी है या फतवा लेके वापस लौटना है तीसरा कोई ऑप्शन मौजूद नहीं है असं जरूर अग्गे बढ़सा और पूरे यकीन ना अपनी मामा की आखना तीसरी कोई बात नहीं होनी चाहिए यार पिंडाल मौजूद हर एक फर्द ने दिल ये बात है कि या शहादत कबूल करनी है या फतवा लेके वापस लौटना है तीसरा कोई ऑप्शन मौजूद नहीं है असं जरूर अग्गे बढ़सा और पूरे यकीन ना अपनी मामा की आखना अपनी भैणा की आखना कि असा जिस जबर ने अंदर पिछले 80 साल गुजारे हैं तीसरी कोई बात नहीं होनी चाहिए यार पिंडाल मौजूद हर एक फर्द ने दिल ये बात है कि या शहादत कबूल करनी है या फतवा लेके वापस लौटना है तीसरा कोई ऑप्शन मौजूद नहीं है असं जरूर अग्गे बढ़सा और पूरे यकीन ना अपनी मामा की आखना अपनी भैणा की आखना कि असा जिस जबर ने अंदर पिछले 80 साल गुजारे हैं तीसरी कोई बात नहीं होनी चाहिए यार पिंडाल मौजूद हर एक फर्द ने
The other big story that's breaking here on the same subject, the government in POK has now warned teachers and students that disciplinary action will be taken against participation. They are even scared now that children will defy Munir's army. There's a protest on this. Let me go across to my colleague Gursimran getting us those details. Gursimran, it's clear. Private schools have been told if you continue staying open, your registration will be cancelled.
Yes, because today we have seen that the sea of students in Pakistan's Rawalkot have come on the streets on the Pakistani-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. These students who are actually from BOJK and studying in the different schools in the Rawalkot, they have come on the streets of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. There was a sea of the students in uniform staging the protest against the Pakistani government and the atrocities being committed upon them by the Pakistani federal government and the establishment. And what they have said that we are not terrorists, do not commit atrocities on on us. They wanted peace. They were holding the banners, urging the United Nations to intervene. They were urging the civil bodies, the global organizations to come and help them. And that is why we have seen that the protest after protests have taken place. Now this diktat has been issued by the Pakistani federal government that the registrations will be cancelled.
We're going to get you the news from Iran now. There's one injured in the US attack in Iran's Abadan. The report suggests US projectile has hit Iran's Abadan, injuring one person. This is one of the news that we're getting you. It's the US projectile that's hit Iran's Abadan. And we're also going to get you soon after this footage that has been released. Great details that are now coming from Iran about how Abadan has been hit. There is Iran smoke that's rising from Iran. We're also now getting more footage from Iran and the IRGC and what they are doing. But first, on the story, I'm telling you the news that's coming in now. It's US that has escalated its attack in the Middle East. And the other breaking news that's coming in right now, viewers, the IRGC has released footage of Qadar, Imad, Khyber, Shekhan and Zulfagar missiles being launched at US bases in response to the hostile attacks targeting Iran. It's clear what they're doing is an eye for an eye. They've also targeted US bases near them. They've launched this in US bases in response. This is the big news that's also coming in. We're clearly seeing that the Middle East attack has only intensified with IRGC also attacking US bases. And the General Command of the Bahrain Defense Forces announces that Iran continues its systematic hostile approach through its sinful attacks with missiles and drones that target the civilians in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Bahrain is saying Iran is targeting civilians in the attack. That's the news that's just coming in, whereas Iran has clarified that the attack will not be on civilians, only on the bases. They've accused Iran of targeting civilians. The military has accused Iran of also in the latest attack having targeted civilians. Viewers, explosions are heard near Iran's southern Bandar Abbas and Qashim Island. Iranian media says explosions are reported in Bandar Abbas. This becomes extremely critical as we are clearly seeing that the escalation of the attack is there, as we are seeing the escalations are there from the side of US that has also targeted Iran once again, and these attacks are being seen in different parts. There are new explosions that have been heard on Bandar Abbas and Qashim Island, and it's clear even as there have been no civilian casualties reported. We're also being told there are possible clashes at the Strait of Hormuz. In response to the explosions, we are told that there were no reports of civilian casualties. The explosions came amid the escalating tensions. There are two powerful blasts in Bandar Abbas that were seen early today morning. Remember, Iran is also retaliating with missile and drone attacks targeting US military facilities in the regional countries. And they accused Washington of repeatedly violating their 17th of June Memorandum of Understanding. US President had earlier declared that memorandum as over.
Bandar Abbas.
Typhoon Bavi made a powerful landfall in eastern China's Zhejiang province, packaging maximum sustained winds of 144 kilometers per hour. Regarded as the strongest storm to hit the Chinese mainland this year, Bavi triggered massive evacuations, forcing nearly 2 million people out of high-risk coastal regions into emergency shelters. The National Meteorological Agency has issued its first red alert for rainstorms along with an orange typhoon alert, leading to mass cancellations of over 1,000 flights, trains, ferry services across Shanghai, Hangzhou and neighboring provinces. Remember, before striking China, the storm system intensified deadly monsoonal landslides in the Philippines and brought severe weather to parts of Taiwan and southern Japan.
저거 심이 든든 게. 나说我们快干咋好？我这不是来不谈。还有一个，好像。
线啊，看见谁？极限，我老叫你开。
Let's take a look at what's making headlines across the nation. Eggs were allegedly thrown at former TMC candidate Titnankar Ghosh while he was being escorted out of Karda police station. Police have intervened to prevent any escalation. Security has been tightened in the area. Flood waters have inundated Naharani village in Assam's Lakhimpur district following heavy rainfall. Vast stretches of crop fields, roads and pathways remain submerged, affecting normal life and disrupting connectivity. A joint rescue operation was launched after two JKRTC buses carrying Shri Amarnath Ji Yatra pilgrims and a car collided on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway in Ramban. All the injured were shifted to district hospital for treatment. A Hyderabad sub-inspector has been booked after a video showed his 6-year-old granddaughter driving a car on a public road. He claimed he was preparing for the Guinness World Records. Police registered a case citing safety concerns. And now the Supreme Court's nationwide mediation initiative. They are taking this initiative in the case of Gyanvapi and other such cases where the court administration is inviting parties to explore an amicable settlement before a special Lok Adalat. Both the Hindu plaintiffs and the Muslim mosque management bodies have rejected the proposals, informed the court and the legal service authorities. They want the disputes declared through the regular judicial process instead of mediation. However, it's an important initiative that has been now taken by the top court of the country to try and ensure that there is some consensus reached in these cases. It's also similar to what had been done earlier. I want to go across to my colleague Sarthak. There is no breakthrough in the three cases in the pre-litigation mediation attempts in lower court since 21st of April. A notice was sent to the Muslim and Hindu parties. However, now Supreme Court is sending the Gyanvapi case, the Mathura Sambhal disputes for out-of-court settlement in August. What are the details that you've picked up?
Well, absolutely. There has been a dispute between the Muslim parties and the Hindu parties regarding these three places of worship. One is the Gyanvapi Mosque, one is the Shahi Idgah Mosque, and the third one is the Shahi Jama Masjid. There has been a dispute between the parties for a very long time. As a matter of fact, Supreme Court had recommended these parties to go for mediation and to attend the Samadhan Samaroh 2026 that is supposed to be held on from August 21 to August 23. They were recommended this mediation. They were invited for this mediation to try and settle the dispute outside court and not to go for the regular judicial process. However, at this point, it seems like both the parties, both the Hindu parties and the Muslim parties have decided mutually that they would not be going for mediation. They would not be relying for mediation for solving these disputes as they have raised multiple questions and multiple arguments in the court. For example, the first thing that they have mentioned that this disputes involved the question of the title of the immovable property, whether it was a mosque, whether it was a temple, that can only be determined through a regular judicial process. Furthermore, they have also raised some constitutional and legal issues like the interpretation of the places of worship, Special Provisions Act of 1991. That can also only be done through a regular judicial process, and further an authoritative judicial determination has to be made, and therefore it is important the judiciary intervenes and decides the matter.
That's right. Thank you, Sarthak, for giving us those details. A top focus story that we're going to continuously track. Viewers, a huge fire engulfed a pub in Bangkok early Monday, killing at least 27 people before firefighters brought the blaze under control. The Prime Minister, Anutin Charnvirakul, had visited the site with rows of bodies laid out at the scene as police and emergency crews also worked around him. Footage shared online by first responders showed a huge blaze raging and smoke pouring from the front door of the Na led Prao pub in the northern part of the Thai capital, with people trying to flee as thick black smoke billowed into the sky.
people injured.
คลิปวิดีโอแล้วก็แบบไฟมันลุกค่อนข้างไวมากก็เลยแบบเป็นห่วงที่ทำงานว่าลูกชายก็เลยแบบรีบมาดูก็ค่อนข้างตกใจค่ะ
ถ้าในเมื่อเข้าไปเอาเป็นว่าประสบการณ์ที่ผมเข้าไปก็คือโต๊ะมันก็ไม่ไหม้ปกติมันเป็นแค่ขมเหลาลงมาคุมโต๊ะแค่นั้นเองซึ่งโต๊ะมันก็เป็นไม้เป็นเชื้อเพลิงอย่างหนึ่งแหละใช่ไหมครับพอมันเป็นเชื้อเพลิงเนี่ยมันต้องไหม้ถูกไหมแต่สิ่งที่ผมเห็นนะมันจะไหม้อยู่ข้างบนด้านหลังทางซ้ายห้องน้ำอ่ะมันถูกมันมีทางออกอยู่ซึ่งออกมาแล้วมันจะอยู่หลังร้านไอ้โตสีชมพูเนี่ยครับมันจะเป็นลานกว้างๆเลยแต่เขาทางหน้าประตูเขาเขียนติดป้ายไว้ว่าเฉพาะเจ้าหน้าที่นะครับซึ่งมันถูกล็อกไว้ด้วยกลอนสน.พหลโยธินแล้วท่านจะทราบรุ่นน้องที่เป็นนักร้องค่ะแล้วก็มีนักดนตรีหลายคนเลยค่ะที่ตอนแรกสูญหายค่ะเพราะว่าทราบตอนแรกก็คือติดต่อใครไม่ได้เลยรู้แค่ว่าไฟไหม้แล้วรู้ว่าเพื่อนเล่นอยู่ที่นี่ก็เลยพยายามติดต่อเพื่อนๆที่อยู่ที่นี่ค่ะทีนี้มันจากคำบอกเล่าที่อยู่ในก็คือว่าตอนไฟมันขึ้นมันมืดหมดเลยค่ะไฟดับหมดเลยแล้วก็มีแต่ควันเนี่ยก็คือมันก็มองหากันไม่เจออะไรเงี้ยไม่มันเป็นคนนักร้องเลยมันกำลังขึ้นร้องเลย
I asked one musician that happened to be on the stage when the incident took place. He said that there was a fire at the cutout switch, and after that thing happened very quickly, and there was blasting, and everybody tried to free themselves from the smoke.
Coming up after a short break, the government says it is now examining Meta's response on the child sexual abuse content, and there will be appropriate action to follow.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया?
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
रानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Rosa podcast wants to know, but I'm seeing a very soft version of Arnab. What did you expect? A mad guy shouting at the screen. I can't shut up. As debater or I'm a crazy debater. Facts everyone has. But I have brought back opinion into journalism because they didn't have the guts. I had the guts, I had the freedom, I had the intellect. I gave it my best shot. I still do it. There's no sense of how much money you want to make. No, it was always how much can you do. I used to be really proud seeing my father in uniform. I realized my father was doing something greater than his own job. If you were to again go back and look at from where you started as a journalist, so much. A junior Rahul would have spoken to a junior Arnab. Which Rahul?
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा आरती और मसाला, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है। स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
की घटना है, मैं यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ। जो रात में घटना घटी उसमें महिला घर में अकेली थी। हाँ, रात में 2-3 बजे की घटना है, मैं यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ। जो रात में घटना घटी उसमें महिला घर में अकेली थी, उसके बच्चे बाहर थे, पति उसका परेशान जो है डेथ हो गई है। उसके घर में 2-3 बजे के आसपास कुछ लोग घुसे, 5-6 लोग बता रहे हैं, और उसमें जो है उनके साथ उनके घर में सर्च किया, उसका सामान चांदी लिए हैं, और उसके साथ बलात्कार की घटना भी किया गया है। साथ ही कोई उसमें उसके इंटरनल पार्ट में इंजरी है, जिससे लगता है कोई मटेरियल वगैरह कुछ उसके साथ जो है प्रयास किया गया है। इसके बारे में पूरी जानकारी डॉक्टर से ली जा रही है, और इसमें उसको भी इंदौर रेफर किया गया है। महिला को वहाँ उनके इलाज के लिए रेफर किया गया है, तो पूरा ख्याल रखा जा रहा है। बाकी हम लोग पूरी टीम यहाँ पे जो है हमारी लगी है, एफएसएल की टीम भी आई है, हमारे जो फिंगरप्रिंट की टीम भी है, हमारे साइबर प्लस जो हमारी आसपास के थाने की टीम यहाँ पे आ गई है। उनको मैंने पूरा जल्दी से जल्दी, मतलब 24 घंटे 28 घंटे के अंदर में पकड़ को निकालने का प्रयास किया जाएगा पुलिस की तरफ से।
सर, पुलिस ने अभी तक कोई धारा में कार्रवाई की है?
हाँ, पुलिस इसमें जो है क्योंकि आदमी इसमें 5-6 बताए जा रहे हैं, तो डकैती की धारा प्लस 376 जो उसने बलात्कार किया है, इसकी धारा इसमें लगी।
There is outrage in the area after the incident. Demands are being made for a fair investigation, financial assistance, and the removal of the station in charge. The SP visited the crime scene and instructed officials to take strict action. Officials said investigators had recovered some evidence from the crime scene but declined to share details as the probe was underway.
Rosa podcast wants to know, but I'm seeing a very soft version of Arnab. What did you expect? A mad guy shouting at the screen. I can't shut up. As debater or I'm a crazy debater. Facts everyone has. But I have brought back opinion into journalism because they didn't have the guts. I had the guts, I had the freedom, I had the intellect. I gave it my best shot. I still do it. There's no sense of how much money you want to make. No, it was always how much can you do. I used to be really proud seeing my father in uniform. I realized my father was doing something greater than his own job. If you were to again go back and look at from where you started as a journalist, so much. A junior Rahul would have spoken to a junior Arnab. Which Rahul?
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
The top headlines today: India shines at the inaugural edition of the Asian Under-23 Athletics Championships 2026 held in China. Finishes 4th place by clinching 16 medals across the events. The government says that it is now examining Meta's response on child sexual abuse content. Appropriate actions to follow. Supreme Court 6 SIT report in Ayodhya donation theft case directs the team to issue notice to Ram Mandir Trust. After UBT Sena, NCP-SP split next. Sources indicate 5 Lok Sabha MPs likely to make the switch to NDA. US strikes hit central Iranian region, hits air defense systems, coastal radar sites, missiles and drone capabilities along with small boats. Iran launches eye for an eye operation after fresh US strikes, targets US bases across Kuwait, Jordan and Bahrain. BJP sends legal notice to Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah on 30 crore charges, demands unconditional apology. A very good afternoon, viewers. You're watching Republic. I'm Chongtham Amrita, and today we begin with a major story that we are focusing on. This regarding India's big performance at the inaugural edition of Asian Under-23 Athletics Championships by clinching 2 gold medals through javelin sensation Anand Singh and the formidable women's 4x400 meter relay team, contributing to a total haul of 16 medals. The tally also includes 4 silver and 9 bronze medals. The athletes are expected to arrive in India tomorrow. Let's take a look at this full report and look at India's performance at the Athletics Championships. Well, this is as India shines at this inaugural edition of the Athletics Championships that was held in China, and India bagged 16 medals tally, India's biggest haul in the first, India's one of the biggest haul. In fact, this is the Under-23 Championships of the track and field event, various athletics events where India scored very high. India, in fact, gained 16 medals by finishing 4th. This is in fact a very good performance by the Indian athletes, and we have also the biggest, one of the biggest tally in very recent times in the global stage by India. And we are also getting reports that javelin sensation Anand Singh has also clinched 2 medals there, and also the formidable women's 4x400 meter relay team, one of the shining performances of the event Asian Athletics that was held in China. India truly shined at the event, one of the biggest performances that India has been showing so far. Right, and the tally that India has in fact scored also includes 4 silver and 9 bronze medals, and the athletes are expected to arrive in India tomorrow after finishing 4th, and this was one of India's biggest tally haul in recent times in global stage in athletics. That is, these are Indian athletes under 23 event, the inaugural event that was held in China. India bagged 16 medals in total. India also scored a very good performance in javelin, 2 gold medals in javelin by the sensation Anand Singh and the formidable women's 4x400 meter relay team, contributing to a total haul of 16 medals. And the total tally also includes 4 silver as well and 9 bronze medals. In fact, a very huge and shining performance by the Indian contingent at the Asian Athletics Championship under 23 that was recently concluded in China. And the team is set to arrive tomorrow back in India after making the country proud, after flying the national flag high at the global stage. This after the relay team, in fact, truly gave a wonderful performance and a total haul of 16 medals by the Indian contingent, the under-23 contingent. And in fact, this comes at a time when other sports are also being seen. And for example, in cricket, India has been putting up very poor performance so far, separate back-to-back losses as well. While on the other hand, Indian athletes continue to shine and bring the nation pride and fame, and raising the Indian flag at the national level, at the international level. And in fact, the athletes truly deserve this performance that they have given, truly deserve all the honor that's coming their way. And in fact, a very proud moment for India as well. India bagging 16 medals in the under-23 athletics championships. India, in fact, claims 2 gold medals through javelin in the javelin event and in various other track and field events as well. India has also bagged 4 silver medals and 9 bronze medals in various other track and field events. India's team, under-23 team, shining at the global stage again in the inaugural edition of the Asian Athletics Championship. Now we also have Republic also spoke to one of the athletes there, and let's listen to this statement, that the exclusive statement that was given to Republic.
So kickboxing is not a very mainstream sport when compared to India. So how do you look, and what do you think are the necessity measures that can be taken to save kickboxing and develop it into a mainstream media?
I think in India they are giving priority to some games only. When they are giving preference to and encourage the kickboxing infrastructure, coaches and good academies, then kickboxers also win medals in international level, world level. This is a very, very important. I won gold medal in World Cup and 2 international medals, but still also I am struggling. But I want to request to encourage kickboxing with the good infrastructure and academies and everything, etc.
So kickboxing is not a very mainstream sport when compared to India. So how do you look, and what do you think are the necessity measures that can be taken to save kickboxing and develop it into a mainstream media?
I think in India they are giving priority to some games only. When they are giving preference to and encourage the kickboxing infrastructure, coaches and good academies, then kickboxers also win medals in international level, world level. This is a very, very important. I won gold medal in World Cup and 2 international medals, but still also I am struggling. But I want to request to encourage kickboxing with the good infrastructure and academies and everything, etc.
And in fact, we are being joined by more of our medalists who've done us proud in China. We're right now being joined by Aman Chaudhary. Aman Chaudhary is joining us live on Republic TV, and he's live right now from China. And he's just won the silver in the men's relay 4x400 meter. बहुत बधाई आपको अमन चौधरी जी, और इतने यंग एज में आपको ये सफलता हासिल हुई है। चाइना में जाकर हमने जिस तरह से परफॉर्मेंस किया है, इस वक्त कैसा लग रहा है आपको, कैसा महसूस हो रहा है?
मैम अच्छा ही लग रहा है अभी तो
जी। अभी जैसे कि आपने देखा हमने कि हमारे सारे मतलब हमने गोल्ड भी जीते हैं, सिल्वर भी जीते हैं, और इसके पीछे अगर आप बताएंगे कितनी मेहनत गई है, किस तरह से आपकी तैयारी गई है, कितने दिनों की तैयारी है, कितने लंबे आवर्स आप ट्रेनिंग करते थे?
मैम दिन के 6-7 घंटे कम से कम।
अच्छा, और किस तरह का
हाँ
सपोर्ट
जी।
मिला है, किस तरह की मतलब किस तरह से तैयारियों में और क्या क्या इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ गई हैं, अगर वो आप थोड़ा सा डिटेल में बता सकें।
तैयारी तो ठीक ही है मैम अपनी, और क्या ही बताऊं।
बताना, क्योंकि देखिए इम्पोर्टेंट है, जो कि आपके लिए आप एक तरह से मिसाल अब बन चुके हैं। और हम देख रहे हैं कि किस तरह से आपकी काफ़ी ज़्यादा आपको लेकर मीडिया में बहुत अटेंशन हो रहा है, काफ़ी ज़्यादा आपके बारे में छप रहा है। तो इस वक्त कैसा आपको लग रहा है कि कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है कि हमारी आपकी जो कहानी है वो सामने आए, तो उसको लेकर अगर आप कुछ बताएं, अपने बारे में बताएं, और आपका क्या ड्रीम रहा है, अगर आप उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा बताएं।
मैम ड्रीम तो यही था कि इंडिया के लिए रिप्रेजेंट करूं।
जी, और आपने वो किया भी है। अच्छा, आपके कोच भी मेरे साथ जुड़
और
चुके हैं, ये मुझे पता चला है अभी। तो मिस्टर राहुल पनवर इज़ जॉइनिंग अस राइट नाउ। राहुल जी, अगर आप बताएं कि किस तरह की ट्रेनिंग गई है इस बार, क्या हमने ख़ास किया है जो इस तरह का उम्दा रिजल्ट आया है।
ट्रेनिंग हमारी काफ़ी अच्छी हुई है इस बार, काफ़ी मेहनत की है हमने दोनों ने मिलके। तो अभी हम गोल्ड से चूक गए हैं, मगर हमारी तैयारी चल रही है आगे के लिए, क्योंकि अमन के साथ उतार चढ़ाव हर बार रहा है, कुछ ना कुछ। कभी इसके इंजरी हो जाती है, कभी कुछ ना कुछ इसके साथ रहा है, मगर हम मेहनत कर रहे हैं, अपना कोशिश कर रहे हैं, हम आगे और अच्छा करेंगे। तो अभी इसकी आगे की तैयारी है 2028 ओलंपिक के लिए।
अच्छा, और जैसे हमने ओवरऑल परफॉर्मेंस आपने देखी है सर, ये किस तरह से आपको लगा है कि इस बार जो परफॉर्मेंस हुई है उसमें हमने अलग क्या किया है? जो कि हमने देखा है रिले में, अगर वुमेंस की बात करें वहाँ पर भी गोल्ड मिला है, काफ़ी मेडल्स मिले हैं इस बार, जैवलिन में भी मिले हैं। तो आपको क्या लगा है कि इस बार डिफरेंट क्या रहा है हमारे इस कंटिजेंट के लिए?
ये हमारे एथलेटिक्स में धीरे धीरे हर ही मतलब सीनियर में भी और जूनियर में भी इम्प्रूव हो रहा है हर तरीके से। इसमें बहुत बड़ा रोल हमारी AFI फेडरेशन का भी है, जो अलग अलग तरीके के कोर्स हमें प्रोवाइड करा रही है, कैंप करा रही है, जिससे हम भी इंटरनेशनल लेवल की नॉलेज अपने बच्चों को प्रोवाइड करा पा रहे हैं। जैसे मैं दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट में कोच हूँ, तो मैं भी उन कोर्सेज को यूज करके बाहर की जो इंटरनेशनल में टेक्निक आ रही है, तो उनको मैं भी फॉलो करके अपने इम्प्रूव करा रहा हूँ बच्चों को, स्टूडेंट को। तो इसका बहुत हमें बेनिफिट मिल रहा है। ये हमारा पूरे एथलेटिक्स का रिजल्ट आके देख लीजिए आप, हर इवेंट में हमारा स्टैंडर्ड अप होता जा रहा है, और वो कोई दिन दूर नहीं रहेगा जब हमारे एथलेटिक्स में बहुत मेडल आएंगे ओलंपिक में।
एब्सोल्युटली। और अगर हम देखें ओलंपिक्स की बात आपने करी, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है वो, और उसको लेकर हमने इनफैक्ट राधा कृष्णन सर से कुछ देर पहले बात की थी। तो कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, उस लिहाज से अगर देखा जाए तो ओलंपिक्स भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। और हमने कई दशकों से देखा है कि भारत कहीं ना कहीं स्ट्रगल करता रहा है, अगर हम बात करें एथलेटिक्स में। लेकिन जब हमने देखा कि एथलेटिक्स में इतने सालों बाद नीरज चोपड़ा जी हमारे लिए एक मेडल लेके आए, तो उसके बाद काफ़ी उम्मीदें जाग गई। और उसके बाद तमाम हमने वर्ल्ड टूर्नामेंट्स में देखा है कि हमारे एथलेटिक्स में भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा सक्सेसफुल हम पाए जा रहे हैं, इनफैक्ट ट्रैक एंड फील्ड में भी। तो आपको लगता है कि और भी कुछ किया जा सकता है, अगर आप बात करें जिस तरह का सपोर्ट एंड अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ क्या कुछ मिल सकती हैं, सो दैट कि पूल जो हो वो और भी बड़ा हो जाए वर्ल्ड इवेंट्स के लिए?
ये सबसे बड़ी जो मुझे लगता है ना, जो ग्रास रूट लेवल पे है, वो सुविधा बढ़नी चाहिए हमारे इधर। हमारे इधर खिलाड़ी जो इंटरनेशनल हो जाता है तो उसको सब चीज मिलती है, मगर ग्रास रूट लेवल पे उसको वो सुविधा नहीं मिल पाती जो उसको बहुत जरूरी है। क्योंकि हमारे एथलीट ग्रास से ही बनते हैं। वो मतलब स्टार्टिंग में उनको अच्छे कोच मिल जाए तो उनको सही गाइडेंस मिल जाती है। क्योंकि हमारे इधर कोच बहुत हैं, मगर टैलेंट किलर भी बहुत हैं, जो बच्चों का बचपन में टैलेंट किल करते हैं। तो उनको अच्छा कोच मिलेगा तो वो सही गाइडेंस करेंगे।
तो आपको लगता है कहीं ना कहीं टैलेंट स्काउटिंग में इश्यूज हैं, या इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में भी इश्यूज हैं? किस तरह के इश्यूज हैं?
धीरे धीरे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बढ़ रहा है, मगर पर हमारे जितना हम चाह रहे हैं, एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं, उतना हमारा इंडिया बहुत बड़ा है, तो उतना हमें नहीं मिल पा रहा सभी को।
अच्छा,
तो ये ग्रास रूट लेवल पे, डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे हमें कैंप लगने चाहिए, स्कॉलरशिप मिलनी चाहिए, जिससे बच्चों को मोटिवेशन मिले और वो आगे खेलने बढ़े। क्योंकि अभी बहुत हमारे जॉब बहुत कम है स्पोर्ट्स में। जॉब प्रोवाइड होंगी बच्चों, तो नए बच्चे आएंगे। अभी बच्चों को जॉब भी नहीं मिलती, तो उसका आगे फ्यूचर क्या रहेगा? जो इंटरनेशनल कर जाएगा वो सिक्योर है, अगर जो उससे नीचे लेवल का रहेगा खिलाड़ी, तो उसके लिए समस्या है।
तो आप कह रहे हैं कि ज़्यादा मोटिवेशन, ज़्यादा इंकरेजमेंट, ज़्यादा सपोर्ट चाहिए। जो अभी जैसे कि अभी हम बात करें, अमन की बात कर ले, और जो भी ये अंडर 23 तो काफ़ी यंग है, तो इनके लिए ज़्यादा सपोर्ट चाहिए, आप ये कहना चाह रहे हैं?
सपोर्ट चाहिए बहुत ज़्यादा। बिना सपोर्ट के कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा।
जी। और अमन, अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं कि आपका नेक्स्ट गोल क्या है, नेक्स्ट टारगेट क्या है आपका इस मेडल के बाद? अब
मैम अभी तो मैम 2028 ही है ओलंपिक की,
अच्छा
उसकी प्रिपरेशन करूंगा।
अच्छा, चलिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमारे जुड़ने के लिए अमन और मिस्टर राहुल पनवर फॉर जॉइनिंग अस ऑन रिपब्लिक टीवी एंड मेनी मेनी कांग्रेचुलेशंस टू यू एंड द टीम फॉर डूइंग अस प्राउड. Thank you so much. Back to the studios.
Right, thank you so much, Rakshita, for that, and speaking to our athletes, making India proud, and also they have also raised a very important point that they definitely need more investment and in terms of funding and also more attention to the athletes that are making India proud, and they are raising the flag of the nation at the world stage and bringing in several medals in this particular event. India's one of the biggest haul in the international stage, 16 medals that India has brought back home. The contingent will be touching down in Indian soil tomorrow with such a proud moment for the country as well. And that was the team, one of the team, and the coach speaking to Republic and also about their experience and also, in fact, the experience that they have faced at the event and also during their training and some of the hardships also that they face during those times. And this is, in fact, viewers, a big haul for India. We have 3 gold medals that India has clinched and 4 silver medals and 9 bronze medals. In fact, India's javelin throw was a record and a personal best for the javelin athlete Anand Singh as well. And we are continued to join by Rakshita. At this, we have more guests joining us. Over to you, Rakshita, for that.
Yes, we are in fact being joined by the family of the star in this tournament. Shavani Sangle's father and brother are joining us here on the broadcast. And in fact, I welcome Mr. Sachin Sangle, the father of Shavani Sangle, and Shavani Sangle's coach Vaijnath Kale also. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. Sir, सचिन सर, पहले आपसे मैं बात करना चाहती हूँ कि किस तरह कैसा मोमेंट आपको लगा जब आपने देखा अपनी बेटी को वो मेडल जीतते हुए, जब वो काफ़ी नेल बाइटर था, काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग भी था। अगर आप देखें किस तरह से उन्होंने अब जब वो आगे बढ़ रही थी, दोनों इवेंट्स की अगर बात करें, जो टीम इवेंट था रिले का और इंडिविजुअल में भी उन्होंने मेडल पाया, तो वो कैसा वो मंजर आपको देखकर कैसा लगा?
सबसे पहले तो मुझे बहुत प्राउड फील हुआ कि मेरी बच्ची जहाँ पे परफॉर्म कर रही है और अपने देश के लिए मेडल ला रही है, तो बहुत प्राउड फील हुआ। Am I audible? हेलो हेलो।
जी जी सर, अब आपकी आवाज़ आ रही है। जी जी, प्लीज़ गो अहेड।
हाँ जी। तो बहुत प्राउड फील हुआ कि देश के लिए बच्ची इतने बड़े लेवल पे रिप्रेजेंट कर रही है और उसके साथ में मेडल भी जीत रही है, तो बहुत खुशी का माहौल था और बहुत ही प्राउड फील हुआ।
एब्सोल्युटली, एंड हमने देखा किस तरह से काफ़ी एक तरह काफ़ी डिफ़िकल्ट भी था। और अगर हम चाइना की बात करें, और काफ़ी बड़े बड़े ऐसे देश से के कंपेटिटर्स थे जहाँ पर वो ट्रेडिशनली हमने देखा है कि वो ट्रैक एंड फील्ड इवेंट्स में काफ़ी ज़्यादा आगे रहते हैं। लेकिन जब आपने देखा हमारी भारतीय टीम, हमारी भारतीय महिलाएं इतना अच्छा कर रही थी, तो आपको क्या कुछ लगा कि कितना कुछ बदलाव आया है अभी, और इसका श्रेय आप किसको देते हैं इस बदलाव के लिए?
डेफिनेटली पिछले कुछ सालों से बहुत बदलाव आया है और इसका श्रेय अगर जाना चाहिए तो जो भी कोचेस ग्राउंड लेवल पे काम कर रहे हैं उनको, एथलेटिक्स फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया, खेल मंत्रालय और गवर्नमेंट, इन सबको जाना चाहिए। डेफिनेटली उन्होंने पिछले काफी सालों से जो सपोर्ट सिस्टम बढ़ाया है वो बहुत ही अच्छा हुआ है। नहीं तो उसके पहले सब पेरेंट्स को या बाकी स्पॉन्सरर्स जिनको मिलेंगे स्पॉन्सरर, वही लोग अच्छा ट्रेनिंग या अच्छी फैसिलिटीज पा सकते थे। लेकिन आज की तारीख में वो काफी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलप हुआ है, जिसके कारण काफी एथलीट्स आगे आए हैं और आप देखेंगे कि आगे चलते हुए बहुत ज्यादा नंबर ऑफ एथलीट्स आगे आएंगे।
जी जी बिल्कुल, मैं ट्रेनिंग पर और पूरी मेहनत पर ज़रूर जाऊंगी उनके कोच के पास भी। लेकिन आपकी उनसे बात हुई जब ये मेडल हुआ तो उनका रिएक्शन क्या था, क्या कुछ आपस में आप दोनों की बातचीत हुई, अगर आप बता सकते हैं सचिन सर?
जाहिर सी बात है कि बहुत खुश थी वो कि ये लेवल पे इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट करना और उसके बाद मेडल भी जीतना, और वो भी फर्स्ट जो मेडल था वो एकदम नेल बाइटिंग फिनिश था। तो हम लोग बहुत खुश थे और थोड़ी देर तो हम बात ही नहीं कर पा रहे थे एक दूसरे से, लेकिन बाद में वो भी काफी खुश थी।
जी, अगर आप उनके बारे में बताएं कि क्या बचपन से उनको स्पोर्ट्स के प्रति रुझान था और क्या काफ़ी एक्टिव थी वो अगर इस फ्रंट पे, या उनको किसी से इंस्पिरेशन मिली है, उसके बारे में ज़रा बताएं।
नहीं, अभी देखिए, जो हर कोई बच्चा होता है तो माँ बाप को तो ऐसा लगता है कि वो कोई डॉक्टर बने, साइंटिस्ट बने, कोई आर्मी में जाए, लेकिन इसका श्रेय मैं कोचेस को देना पड़ेगा कि वो लोग आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं और वो लोग हमें इंसिस्ट कराते हैं कि आप उनको ट्रेनिंग दीजिए, एकेडमी भेजिए। तो डेफिनेटली हैट्स ऑफ टू हर कोच, उन्होंने जो उसको चूज किया और उसके बाद ट्रेनिंग दिया। आई एम रियली थैंकफुल टू हिम।
Right, we are also thankful to him for to groom her so well and train her so well. तो वैजनाथ जी, मैं आप पर आऊँगी इस वक्त। कैसे उनकी ट्रेनिंग रहती है, कितनी मेहनत करी है, किस तरह से उनका पूरा एक प्रिपरेशन रहा है इस टूर्नामेंट से पहले?
जी थैंक यू सो मच। जैसे आपने कहा, ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम जो रहता है ये कंपटीशन के लिए पिछले दो साल से हम मेहनत कर रहे थे। उसका मॉर्निंग और इवनिंग सेशन मिला के 5-6 घंटे उनका ट्रेनिंग सेशन रहता है और पेरेंट्स का भी बहुत अच्छा सपोर्ट है। एथलीट उस हिसाब से मेहनत कर रहे हैं और हमें उसका श्रेय और फल मिल रहा है। और डेफिनेटली ये नया भारत है और नए भारत की तरह ही उन्होंने अंडर-23 एशियन चैम्पियनशिप में शुरुआत की और चाइना में उन्हीं को टीम को जाके बीट करके गोल्ड मेडल हासिल किया।
जी, और हमने देखा किस तरह से जो चेज़ हमने देखी, स्पेशली जो चाइनीज़ कंपेटिटर थी साथ में उनके, जो चाइनीज़ एथलीट थी, वो हमने देखा काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग मोमेंट था। काफ़ी उसमें नर्वसनेस भी कहीं ना कहीं हुई होगी आपको वो देखते वक्त, लेकिन क्या स्ट्रैटेजी थी, अगर आप उसके बारे में बताएं, और उसके बाद कैसा लगा? व्हाट रियली वर्कड, इफ़ यू कैन टेल अस, इन दैट इवेंट व्हेन इंडिया क्लिंच्ड द गोल्ड?
Yeah, it's really good question. It's not about only physical training. ये mental training है, mental toughness की training है। आपने देखा होगा कि जहाँ पे नियर अबाउट 10-15 मीटर का लीड था, वो लीड काट के हमें उनको बीट करने के लिए वहाँ पे सिर्फ फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग काम नहीं आती, उस टाइम पे आपका मेंटल टफनेस काम आता है। तो नेवर गिव अप का जो मेंटल थॉट रहता है वो आपको जीत के करीब लेके जाता है और वही कि श्रावणी ने जो उसको सिखाया गया था उस हिसाब से ही इम्प्लीमेंट किया और देश को एक गोल्ड में तब्दील कर दिया, सिल्वर को।
आई थिंक आपने एक लाइन में बता दिया, नेवर गिव अप स्पिरिट जो है वो हमारे एथलीट्स में है, जो हमने देखा कि इतनी उम्दा प्रदर्शन हमने करके दिखाया इसीलिए। बट थैंक यू सो मच सर, बोथ ऑफ यू, सचिन सर एंड वैजनाथ जी, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए रिपब्लिक टीवी। वी होप टू इंटरेक्ट सून विद यू ऑन मोर सच स्टोरीज, मोर सच अचीवमेंट्स। थैंक यू सो much. And with that, viewers, we seem to a very, very short break, but we continue to bring you the stories and conversations with our champions, and also on the other side, we bring you other stories. The Supreme Court has also sought the SIT report and also had given a notice to the government, to the trust. We'll get you more on that. Stay tuned.
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
की घटना है, यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ। जो रात में घटना घटी उसमें महिला घर में अकेली थी। हाँ, रात में 2-3 बजे की घटना है, मैं यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ। जो रात में घटना घटी उसमें महिला घर में अकेली थी, उसके बच्चे बाहर थे, पति उसका जो है डेथ हो गई है। उसके घर में 2-3 बजे के आसपास कुछ लोग घुसे, 5-6 लोग बता रहे हैं, और उसमें जो है उनके साथ उनके घर में सर्च किया, उसका सामान चांदी उंदी लिए हैं, और उसके साथ बलात्कार की घटना भी किया गया है। साथ ही कोई उसमें और उसके इंटरनल पार्ट में इंजरी है, जिससे लगता है कोई मटेरियल।
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा प्योर मसाला।
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े,
चंकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
Rosa podcast wants to know, but I'm seeing a very soft version of Arnab. What did you expect? A mad guy shouting at the screen. I can't shut up. As debater or I'm a crazy debater. Facts everyone has. But I have brought back opinion into journalism because they didn't have the guts. I had the guts, I had the freedom, I had the intellect. I gave it my best shot. I still do it. There's no sense of how much money you want to make. No. It was always how much can you do. I used to be really proud seeing my father in uniform. I realized my father was doing something greater than his own job. If you were to again go back and look at from where you started as a journalist, so much. A junior Rahul would have spoken to a junior Arnab. Which Rahul?
India shines at the inaugural edition of the Asian Under-23 Athletics Championships 2026 held in China, finishes fourth by clinching 16 medals across the events. The government says that it is now examining Meta's response on child sexual abuse content, appropriate actions to follow. Supreme Court seeks SIT report in Ayodhya donation theft case, directs the team to issue notice to Ram Mandir Trust. After UBT Sena, NCP-SP split next. Sources indicate 5 Lok Sabha MPs likely to make the switch to NDA. US strikes central Iran, hits air defense systems, coastal radar sites, missiles and drone capabilities, along with small boats. Iran launches eye-for-an-eye operation after fresh US strikes, targets US bases across Kuwait, Jordan and Bahrain. BJP sends legal notice to Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah on 30 crore charge, demands an unconditional apology. Big breaking news coming in at the moment. US massive protests at Bibadi AI Township project. Tensions have escalated at Kodiyala in Bibadi during an official land survey as farmers led by women staged a fierce protest against this exercise. Women carrying brooms opposed the survey and demanded that officials stop the process. Police intervened to prevent the protesters, leading to heated arguments between the women and security personnel. The protest later turned violent as farmers allegedly pelted stones at officials and their vehicles. The windshield of an official's car was also shattered in the process, and protesters also blocked vehicles and continued to raise slogans against the land survey, resulting in further confrontation between the farmers and the security personnel. This in Bhiwadi in Karnataka. The women have raised various slogans and protesting against the land survey that was carried out, and a massive protest was also seen at the process against the land survey that was being carried out in the region. And also, viewers, let's listen in to Bengaluru Rural MP CN Manjunath, who, when he spoke exclusively to Republic about this incident. Take a listen.
I've been joined by Dr. C.N. Manjunath, the Member of Parliament for Bengaluru Rural, where the Biddi issue is happening for the last couple of days. Sir, now, the latest development is that when the survey officers try to visit Biddi to conduct the survey, we've seen that women have used broomsticks and tried to pelt stones, and the police had to intervene in between them. And now the police have taken into custody the farmers and the women who were protesting against the survey. How do you see this, sir?
No, actually, farmers are protesting against this township for months and months. Peacefully they are protesting. And first of all, nobody has asked for this township. And this township comes within this Biddi area. It's all fertile land. So government wants to actually acquire 7,000 acres of land, fertile land, and we have visited, even many legal experts. The former Lokayukta has visited, former Supreme Court judge has visited. I think everybody is convinced, because more than 85% of the farmers are against this particular township, because farmers are actively cultivating. Because we have visited this area, not even 1 inch of land has left uncultivated. So they have coconut garden, they have got aracanut garden, banana, their gardens are there. Then even the milk production is pretty high, sericulture is quite active. So it's not just because this is another important thing, the water table is very good. Because in other parts of Bangalore, even if you go as deep as 1,000 feet, you don't get water in the borewell. Here you are getting water I mean, if you go just 100 to 150 feet, you are getting water. Water source is good, it's a fertile land, and farmers are against it. And previous chief ministers, when farmers protested, they have dropped this project. They have not, gone ahead with this project. When former Chief Minister Kumaraswamy was there, farmer protested, he has dropped it. Then successive Chief Ministers, Yediyurappa ji, then Sadanand Gowda ji, then even Basuraj Bommai, then Jagdish Shettar. So when all Chief Ministers during BJP and JDS rule, they have dropped this project. So where was the necessity? Because farmers are protesting peacefully for so many. There is a limit for everything. So again, I appeal to, even at this stage, I appeal to the Honorable Chief Minister and to the government to drop this township, because in a democratic system, we have to really honor the opinion of the people. And they were protesting peacefully. Of course, today it has gone little beyond the limit. So I appeal to the farmers to continue protesting peacefully, and they should not resort to any aggressive methods of protest.
And now I'm joined by my colleague Abhishek, who has more information on this. Abhishek, can you give us a brief background on the particular AI Township project, and who is behind this project, who has initiated this, and was there permissions that was obtained from the local farmers? Because we are now seeing that a huge protest, they are now protesting against this project. Tell us more on this.
Like what we heard from Dr. C.N. Manjuna, the MP who's representing Bengaluru Rural, it was Kumaraswamy, the union minister who was presently serving in Modi's cabinet. He was the chief minister of Karnataka back then when he planned to start a township in Biddi. But after farmers resorted to a no-show, or farmers very clearly mentioned the fact that they wouldn't have any livelihood if the township emerges in Biddi, and that is when Kumaraswamy, along with various other successive chief ministers, quit this project. It was D.K. Shivkumar, the current sitting chief minister of Karnataka, who very clearly mentioned the fact that no matter what, he will take into consideration the opinion of the farmers around Biddi, and he will continue with the project. He wouldn't go by the political oppositions, but he will continue with the Biddi Township project, or the AICT, as he had planned, is what he had previously mentioned. For the last couple of months, thousands of farmers located in and around Biddi have protested against this AICT or the Biddi Township. And today, it was a day where the farmers had to just go beyond their limits. They started pelting the stones at the officials who had come there to start the survey. They've used the broomsticks on the vehicles which was carrying the surveyors. And at this point of time, Dr. C.N. Manjuna, the MP, has also requested the farmers not to resort to any violent means, and he urges them to continue with a peaceful protest like how they've been doing for the last couple of months. On the other hand, he also mentions the fact various other political parties, be it BJP or be it JDS, have mentioned the fact that taking away the land from the farmers is not only grabbing their lands and recompensating them with the money, but the government will be taking away their livelihood for the next couple of generations. Once the township emerges, the cattle and the greenery land will be lost, and this doesn't seem to be practical. And he doesn't want the government to go against the opinion and the feelings of the farmers, because the farmers are the backbone of the country, is what Dr. C.N. Manjuna, along with various other political leaders, claim as of now. But we will have to see how this proceeds, because the farmers have been taken into custody by the local police, and we've seen some of the political leaders who have already reached that location to show their support to the farmers who are on the protest as of now. But this might continue on a bigger note, because it was BJP MLA who had previously mentioned that there might be Golibar happening because of the move of D.K. Shivkumar, or because of the move of the government. But will the government take a step back and make sure that this project doesn't harm the livelihood of the farmers in Biddi, or will they continue with the Biddi Township and let any other thing happen in the state of Karnataka, is the question which has to be answered over a period of time. And we are awaiting the response from D.K. Shivkumar, the sitting chief minister, as to what might have happened today in Biddi and how he sees that as the chief minister. And will there be a hold to Biddi's Township, because various other MLAs and ministers of the cabinet of D.K. Shivkumar had mentioned the fact that the government shouldn't go against the feeling of the people.
Well, in fact, this is in fact a very big development, and those are very good inputs, and we'll continue to track this update, because this is a huge protest, and we can see that the farmers are rejecting this as well, and the manner of how it was, it came into effect. In fact, this was a land survey that was carried out and met with a massive protest. Now, viewers, with that, we move on to another story. I would like to thank my colleague for joining us for that story. Now, a huge fire also engulfed in a pub in Bangkok early Monday that has killed 27 people before firefighters brought the blaze under control, and this was the official statement. Now, Thai Prime Minister Anutin has also visited the site with rows of bodies laid out at the scene as police and emergency crews worked around him. Now, footage shared online by first responders show a huge blaze raging and smoke pouring from the front door of the Na Lat Prao pub in the northern part of the Thai capital, with many people trying to flee as thick black smoke billowed into the sky. Take a look at this report for more.
People injured.
คลิปวิดีโอแล้วก็แบบไฟมันลุกค่อนข้างไวมากก็เลยแบบเป็นห่วงที่ทำงานว่าใช่ก็เลยแบบรีบมาดูก็ค่อนข้างตกใจค่ะ
ถ้าในเมื่อเข้าไปเอาสมมติประสบการณ์ที่ผมเข้าไปก็คือโต๊ะมันก็ไม่ไหม้ปกติมันเป็นแค่เขม่าลงมาบนโต๊ะแค่นั้นเองซึ่งโต๊ะมันก็เป็นไม้เป็นเชื้อเพลิงอย่างหนึ่งแหละ ใช่ไหมครับพอมันเป็นเชื้อเพลิงเนี่ยมันต้องไหม้ถูกไหมแต่สิ่งที่ผมเห็นนะมันจะไหม้เลยข้างบนด้านหลังทางซ้ายห้องน้ำอ่ะมันถูกมันมีทางออกอยู่ซึ่งออกมาแล้วมันจะอยู่หลังร้านไอ้โตสีชมพูเนี่ยครับมันจะเป็นลานกว้างๆเลยแต่เขาทางหน้าประตูเขาเขียนติดป้ายไว้ว่าเฉพาะเจ้าหน้าที่นะครับซึ่งมันถูกล็อกไว้ด้วยกลอน
สน.พหลโยธินแล้วท่านจะทราบ
รุ่นน้องที่เป็นนักร้องอะค่ะแล้วก็มีนักดนตรีหลายคนเลยค่ะที่ตอนแรกสูญหายค่ะเพราะว่าทราบตอนแรกก็คือติดต่อใครไม่ได้เลยรู้แค่ว่าไฟไหม้แล้วรู้ว่าเพื่อนเล่นอยู่ที่นี่ก็เลยพยายามติดต่อเพื่อนๆที่อยู่ที่นี่ค่ะทีนี้จากคำบอกเล่าที่อยู่ข้างในก็คือว่าตอนไฟมันขึ้นมันมืดหมดเลยค่ะไฟดับหมดเลยแล้วก็มีแต่ควันอย่างเงี้ยก็คือมันก็มองหากันไม่เจออะไรเงี้ย
ไม่มันเป็นคนนักร้องเลยมันกำลังขึ้นร้องเลยI asked one musician that happened to be on the stage when the incident took place. He said that there was a fire at the cutout switch, and after that thing happened very quickly, and there was blasting, and everybody tried to flee themselves from the smokes and the flame. So many of them were not able to make their way out because they went to the back of the building, tried to hide themselves away from the smokes and flames in the toilet, and that's where we found most of the bodies. Right now, we have been able to bring the deceased bodies out. There are already 27 bodies. The rest were sent to hospitals already, and we are still checking their conditions.
Yeah, the incident started around midnight, and then there are like 27 deaths and 63 people injured and 22 critical condition. ก็ว่ารายงานว่าอย่างนั้นนะก็คงไม่อยู่ในนั้นนะครับก็เข้าใจว่าไฟมันติดเร็วแล้วก็ไปตามThe source, the cause of the fire is still under investigation by the police department. But I think the fire brigade arrived within 5 minutes from the notification. But the fire already spread quickly and a lot of smoke and flame. So I think we have to investigate what is the really cause of the casualties.
A major breaking news coming in at the moment. Yemeni media has reported that Sana'a International Airport was hit by several Saudi airstrikes. The Ansar Allah affiliated media has reported that the airport's runway for takeoff and landing were targeted in the attacks. In fact, Saudi Arabia is carrying out airstrikes on Sana'a's international airport in Yemen. The Yemeni media has reported this, and multiple airstrikes have struck the airport's tarmac as an Iranian Mahan Air civilian passenger plane approached the Yemeni airspace, and the airport's tarmac has been bombed while the aircraft remains on course to land. This is again a civilian airport that has been targeted, and in the latest now in the Yemeni airspace, they're saying that the Saudi Arabia has targeted an Iranian plane during this, and that several, in fact, was hit by several Saudi airstrikes. Yemeni media has confirmed of the attack against Sana'a airport. And viewers, we have more breaking news coming in at the moment. Now, Houthi rebels in Yemen has said that the Sana'a International Airport has been hit by Saudi strikes, and orders were given to evacuate the airport and the surrounding areas. And Houthis also said that the ceasefire is over with Saudi Arabia, and citizens in Yemen were asked to evacuate the airport area. This as war continues to escalate. Now Yemen and Houthis also say that the airport in Sana'a was in fact targeted. The tarmac was targeted as well. well. And they are also saying that the ceasefire with Saudi Arabia is now over. We're now joined by our esteemed guest, Major General K.K. Sinha, on this to give us more details and insights. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast, Major General. And what do you make of this latest situation? Now Yemen has again entered. This is just like how it happened in February when several regions and also the proxies of Iran continue to wage war against and the US and its allies in the region. And now Houthis are also saying that the ceasefire with Saudi Arabia is officially over after they claim that Saudi Arabia struck the Sana'a airport. Your take on that, sir?
Good afternoon and Jai Hind. What we see, this is the further escalation. I think that's been done by the Saudi Arabia. In February, we all know that in February, the Saudi Arabia and including UAE, they were hitting Yemen, various factions. Saudi Arabia was hitting basically on the northwest of Nasrallah, those Houthi rebels and their supported government over there, which the capital Sana'a they have occupied. But at the same time, the UAE, they were on the southern side of it and also towards the, southeast side, they were controlling the other faction. And both of them, they want to have the influence in that area that has gone as a ceasefire. Now we are saying that, Saudi Arabia, there was a ceasefire. It was a very fragile ceasefire which has been broken by Saudi Arabia carrying out the attack. As for the, Houthis are concerned, Ansarullah, they are actually, Iran wants to use them for the blocking what they have, that Bab al-Mandeb, that in the Red Sea area, which they have got a capability and they were doing it. And this was not able to contain by United States of America and including 12 nations coalition which was there. It started somewhere in 2023 November onwards. They were not able to contain that and they were very effective. However, their attacking stopped and Red Sea and it's got open, Bab al-Mandeb got open. Now Iran is openly saying that, probably they will leverage on this. So this is a new phase, new dimension which has been added. That Saudi Arabia and Saudi Arabia along with the, it is the Pakistan is also involved in it. Because one division they have said it and their air assets is also located over there in Saudi Arabia.
That's right. Thank you so much for all of your inputs, Major General. Thank you so much. We have more breaking news coming in at this moment. And this happened in Nagaland as a suspected IED blast has been reported near Shukovi in Nagaland and that have targeted a vehicle of the Assam Rifles. And in this blast, one remains fatal in critical condition and at least 4 Assam Rifle personnel was injured. This in a suspected IED blast in Nagaland in Shukovi area where an Assam Rifles personnel have been targeted in this suspected IED blast. Now we're joined by my colleague Anirudh who has more details on this. Anirudh, give us more details because this is again we are seeing that an IED blast has now been reported where Assam Rifle vehicle was targeted where one remains injured. Tell us more into this. How did it happen and was it a suspected ambush or was the IED blast something unrelated? Can you tell us more on that?
It is suspected to be an ambush carried out by some militant outfit in Shukovi area of Nagaland, close to Dimapur. And we are getting to know that though one Assam Rifle soldier has been killed in this blast, whereas 4 others were critically injured. We are awaiting an official statement from the Assam Rifles on this blast. Assam Rifles has not yet issued any statement in this regard. However, our sources on the ground has confirmed us about the IED blast targeting an Assam Rifles vehicle. We are getting to know that this vehicle was returning from a routine
patrol when the IED blast was triggered, and they were traveling in a Bolero vehicle. It was not a convoy movement, but a regular patrol unit of the Assam Rifles. When they were returning at that point in time in Sukhoi, this blast was triggered, which has claimed one life and has left 4 injured critically.
Right. Then, in fact, Anirudh, very briefly, can you also tell us, has anybody come forward or any group come forward to claim any responsibility in this incident?
So far, no group or outfit has claimed responsibility for this blast yet. The ground combing operation has been started. The entire area has been cordoned off. Additional security forces have been deployed in the area, and we are getting to know that combing operation in the nearby area has started as we bring in this report to our viewers studio.
Right. Thank you so much for all those updates, Anirudh. And we'll track the story of where an IED blast has, in fact, killed 1 Assam Rifles personnel and 4 others have been injured. A major story developing from Nagaland. And viewers, we move on to another story that's this, in fact, viewers, the IED blast reported from Sukhoi in Nagaland, where an Assam Rifle vehicle was targeted, suspected to be an ambush as per reports on the ground, and the IED blast was in fact planted before the arrival of the vehicle and blasted, where 1 Assam Rifles personnel was killed on the spot and 4 remains injured. And viewers, we move on to another very good news story. In fact, India finishing fourth at the Asian Under-23 Athletics Championships 2026 that was held in Ordos in China with 16 medals, 3 gold, 4 silver and 9 bronze. The inaugural edition of the Under-23 Continental Meet, which ran from July 9 to 12, so close to 50 Indian athletes compete for medals across both track and field events. The relay teams led the charge for India. They accounted for 4 medals, including gold in both the mixed and women's relays. Shravani Sachin Sangle was the most successful Indian athlete, returning with 3 medals, including a gold each from the mixed 4x400 meter and women's 4x400 relays. Now, she also bagged a bronze in the 400 meter holders single category. Let's take a look at this report for more.
India has finished 4th in the inaugural edition of the Asian Under-23 Athletics Championships 2026 held in China. Nearly 50 Indian athletes participated in the event, bagging a total of 16 medals across track and field events. The relay teams led the charge for India, accounting for 4 medals. Shravani Sachin Sangle was the most successful Indian athlete, returning with 3 medals, including a gold each from the mixed 4x400 meters and the women's 4x400 meters relay. She also bagged a bronze in the 400 meter hurdles. Shravani Sachin Sangle gave the quartet a strong start before Sandramol Sabu delivered a solid second leg, pulling clear of her Chinese rivals over the closing 100 meters. Pravalika Narimala and Nafiza Khatun then protected India's advantage to complete a commanding victory. Meanwhile, the men's 4x400 meters and the women's 4x100 meter teams added silver medals. India's other gold medal came on the final day of the competition, with Anand Singh winning the men's javelin throw. Shivam Lohakare claimed bronze in the same event. Meanwhile, Bhopal athlete Shakil also bagged a bronze medal in the men's 800 meter event. Delivering an outstanding performance against some of Asia's finest middle distance runners, Shakil clocked an impressive 1 minute 48 seconds to secure a podium finish. The young Indian athletes have stamped their mark on the inaugural edition of the Asian Games Under-23 Championship.
On Republic Global at 6:30 p.m. today, the Middle East escalating tensions.
Iran gives chilling warnings. We also get you details of the Bangkok pub tragedy that shocks. All this and much more at 6:30 p.m.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चंकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरी राजा,
सबका राजा आरती और मसाला।
की घटना है, मैं यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ। जो रात में घटना घटी उसमें महिला घर में अकेली थी। हाँ, रात में 2-3 बजे की घटना है, मैं यही घटनास्थल भी आया हूँ। जो रात में घटना घटी उसमें महिला घर में अकेली थी, उसके बच्चे बाहर थे, पति उसका जो है डेथ हो गई है। उसके घर में 2-3 बजे के आसपास कुछ लोग घुसे, 5-6 लोग बता रहे हैं, और उसमें जो है उनके साथ उनके घर में सर्च किया, उसका सामान चांदी लिए हैं, और उसके साथ बलात्कार की घटना भी किया गया है।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरी राजा,
सबका राजा आरती और मसाला।
13,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े।
चंकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चंकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
India shines at the inaugural edition of the Asian Under-23 Athletics Championship 2026 held in China. Finishes 4th by clinching 16 medals across events. The government says that it is now examining Meta's response on child sexual abuse content. Appropriate action to follow. Supreme Court seeks SIT report in Ayodhya donation theft case, directs the team to issue notice to Ram Mandir Trust. After Uddhav Sena, NCP of Sharad Pawar split next. Sources indicate 5 Lok Sabha MPs likely to make the switch to NDA. US strikes central Iranian region. hits air defense systems, coastal radar sites, missile and drone capabilities along with the small boats. Iran launches eye for an eye operation after fresh US strikes targets the US bases across Kuwait, Jordan and Bahrain. BJP sends legal notice to Jammu Kashmir Chief Minister Umar Abdullah on 30 crore charge of poaching, demands unconditional apology from Umar. Very warm welcome. You're watching live and breaking. I'm Rakshita Mishra with you. Start with breaking news coming in from Nagaland viewers, where suspected IED blast has been reported near Shukovi. It targeted a vehicle of Assam Rifles. One fatality has been reported, and at least 4 have been injured. Further details are awaited. IED blast targeting Assam Rifles convoy in Nagaland, and 1 soldier has been killed, martyred in this IED blast. IED blast reported in Nagaland's Sukhovi, and 1 Jawan has been killed in action, and more injuries have been reported. Here, IED blast targeting Assam Rifles vehicle has been reported due to an IED blast in Nagaland, viewers. And it's a suspected IED blast targeted to attack the Assam Rifles deployed near the region of Sukhovi. We'll try and get more details from our reporters on ground, getting us more details on that, because this is tragic news that's coming in right now. 1 soldier has been killed in action, and 2 others have been injured. We'll try and get you more details as my colleague Aniruddha is closely tracking the developments from Nagaland. Getting in visuals from the site, viewers, from the site where the blast was reported from, near Sukhovi. You can see those visuals, and Aniruddha is joining us live on the broadcast for more. Aniruddha, tell us more details about this blast.
Reported from Sukhovi in Nagaland, and it has been reported that at least 1 soldier has been reportedly killed in this IED blast, and 4 others are in critical condition. All have been admitted in the referral hospital in Dimapur. They are undergoing treatment. Meanwhile, the entire area where the blast took place has been cordoned off. Security forces have been deployed. Additional forces have also been called in to the spot. The blast occurred at around 5:30 to between 5 to 5:30, when this patrolling party of the Assam Rifles was moving through Sukhovi. At that point in time, this IED blast was triggered. Though no outfit or organization has claimed responsibility for this blast, it has been suspected that this was a targeted ambush attempt carried out by some militant outfit in the area. The vehicle in question, which was targeted, you can see on your screen, it was a Bolero pickup vehicle, and at least 5 soldiers were there in this vehicle. The impact crater can be also seen on your screen in this video. The impact crater is also clearly visible. The intensity of blast was very high, and the sound could have was heard up till more than 1 kilometer away when the blast took place. Additional security forces from Dimapur, Nagaland Police, as well as Assam Rifles has cordoned the area, and combing operations are also on as we speak. as I have mentioned earlier also, though Assam Rifles has not yet officially issued any statement in this regard, sources have told us that they are closely monitoring the situation, and in a short while from now, they are also, we are expecting an official response from the Assam Rifles. Rakshita.
You know, this is the second attack in a week, isn't it, Aniruddha? Because, you know, on the 6th of July, there were 2 soldiers who were killed in action, 40th Battalion of the Assam Rifles, after there was an ambush also. If you see ambush convoy in Ukhrul district, that was, of course, in Manipur. But now we have an attack in Nagaland as well. Tell us, apprise us about the situation, because there have been some groups that are said to be still active, like the ULFA, and there are many groups that are still active in Nagaland who have targeted the forces in the past as well.
Yes, Rakshita. This is in fact the second blast that has taken place in this region over the last 1 week. Earlier was one in Ukhrul and this one in Nagaland, Sukhoi. But if we talk about the dominance of the outfits and organizations which are active in this area, the militant organizations that I mean, this includes several splinter groups of NSCN. They are active in Ukhrul also. They are active in Sukhoi, in Nagaland also. So yes, though there is no direct link has been yet been established between both the blasts, but yes, suspicion are high that this might be a handiwork of some splinter group of the NSCN.
Absolutely. Stay with us, Aniruddha. We are being joined by defense expert Major Samar Paltur. Major Tur, second attack targeting the Assam Rifles in a week now. First in Ukhrul of Manipur, now in Nagaland, a suspected IED blast reported, and one Jawan has been killed in action, and there are many who are injured right now. 4 at least have been injured. The situation remains grim as we see that the Assam Rifles have been being on the target of several groups in the northeast. How do you assess this?
I mean, this is very serious. The reason why I say that is, keeping in mind the name of the place, Sukhoi is basically the training ground for Assam Rifles training center and school. So it is a very critical area. And what is more intriguing is that the location is heavily guarded. Despite that, this IED blast has taken place, which is a matter of serious concern. And again, they will have to get in the electronic counter IED measures have to be taken. Various SOPs will have to be now followed for the convoys. So with the IED attack, it has opened up another challenge for the movement of the forces. And I think only when the desperation from the terrorists and the militants factions takes place is when they start using IED tactics. So I think there needs to be extra vigil, there needs to be extra alertness, counter IED drills need to be carried out, the convoy protection parties need to carry different IED, anti-IED equipment with them. And this is a critical place. Sukhoi is a place which is already guarded, heavily guarded. So despite that, this taking place, I think these are telltale signs of a tougher battle coming ahead until and unless measures are not taken in time.
Do you feel, sir, that there could be, the kind of situation we see in Manipur that is unfolding, and the groups that are at loggerheads, the groups that are clashing, could be also having here the linkages to such attacks?
I mean, we cannot rule that out, but other than that, one more intriguing thing which has taken place, or probably a trend which is taking place in the northeast, CIA operatives. Or, okay, let us even not say CIA operatives. People of American origin are being arrested for training these militant factions, for telling them the tactics, giving them the drones. So I really can't rule out that these IED training modules could have been taught by the CIA as well. So it is very important for the security forces to now have a proper cordon of various locations, sanitize them. Road opening parties and the drills need to be more thorough. And the intelligence network needs to be revamped. And they need to be ahead of whatever is coming their way now.
Right. Many thanks, Major Samarpal, for joining us with details coming in on that story with your assessment of the situation right now. Viewers, that's the big news that is coming in from the northeast, from Nagaland right now. One soldier has been killed from the Assam Rifles, killed in action in an IED blast targeting the Assam Rifles vehicle. 4 others injured. We'll tell you more details about that. But right now, news coming in from the Karkardooma court in the national capital. Viewers, this is in connection with the Delhi riots case and the murder of IB official Ankit Sharma. Former Aam Aadmi Party councillor Tahir Hussain and 10 others in connection with the murder of Ankit Sharma during the Delhi riots 2020. Court has pronounced that Tahir Hussain and 10 others are guilty. And this case pertains to the killing of Sharma amid the violence in northeast Delhi. So the Aam Aadmi Party councillor Tahir Hussain has been convicted in this murder case. And